And
Are we gonna start? Are we gonna start a recording without someone saying penis for once?
No. Not as long as I'm here.
God damn it, you guys!
So
right
sexist.
away.
Why can't it be a vagina? Huh?
I mean, I could switch up, just no one's requested it.
Okay, that's sexist in itself. Why can't it be an exhaust port? Because I identify as an Apache attack helicopter.
No one cares about what you identify as, Leland.
Guys.
Facts don't care about your feelings.
They're only making it worse for themselves, Shay. They don't seem to understand that the more that they fuck around.
Alright, y'all ready? Okay. Sorry about that. Hola amigos, and welcome back to the greatest story never told. We had to get everybody to settle down. Sorry about that, debate about, God, what? Never mind. I'm just gonna...
Generals and using their words to begin our recordings?
Yeah. I'm too tired. Alright, last time on The Greatest Story Never Told, these are all getting posted same day, which I'm sorry about. I've been a little behind and had a slight access issue with YouTube, so once that's dealt with, these will be all posted. The last two didn't get posted either, but in case you're not marathoning these, last time, our wonderful party had made it into the capital. And as such, oh goodness, what did I do? Yeah, so they made it into the capital, Eston, and as such, they were wandering about. Holly almost ended up detained by obvious mobsters, and Saze intimidated their way out of the fight.
Yeah.
And then they got Houdini'd into the other Undercity, and Wulfric was able. They ran into an orc, and said orc ended up guiding them out of the Undercity and into a very fancy home where they were guided to a room where the dead witch Oriana herself was sitting with a man who I will be happy to redescribe as soon as we start. And that's basically where we left off. So, we're going to do our usual sound off at the beginning. Torrent.
Here.
Holly.
Here.
Fargrim.
I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Yeah, because you were asleep. Oh my god, Fargrim's the only one not with you guys. He's passed out of the store.
I forgot.
You guys left him on the couch.
He was in the house. He was safe.
He's fine.
I tucked him in.
I feel like safe is a relative term in this group.
I would have made sure
Well,
he was
think
clean
about it.
if it wasn't for the fact I was sure he was going to shoot me in his sleep.
Very real possibility.
Yeah, but Morin tucked you in.
The giant dragonkin
Yeah,
tucked the
I would
dwarf
actually
in.
I would like everybody to know that this is the second time that Morin has tucked Fargrim into bed.
Do I have things on my face again?
OTP.
And
Awesome,
okay,
buddy.
so back to my fucking sound off. Morin,
Here.
Saze,
Yo.
Wulfric,
Pheasant.
Swiggity sweet. Okay, we're all here.
Say liggity sweet.
Did you say Holly?
No, yeah, I said Holly
Yeah.
second.
Okay, I didn't remember.
Children, all of you.
I didn't either. You're all good.
Children, all of you. Okay. So, anyway, as I'm dying.
Don't do that.
Everyone except Fargrim. Fargrim, we'll circle back to you.
Okay.
You were, like I said, you were all guided through this house. You were guided to a room where the dead witch was sitting across from a man in a wheelchair. Like I said, he's older looking, very nicely styled hair, just like sandy blonde hair he's well groomed, and he's wearing a suit, and he's got a very sharp look about him, despite the fact that he's smiling, and the orc who let you in sidesteps out of the doorway as Oriana turns and looks at all of you, and she goes, "Well, it's about time you made it."
Yes.
Sasha doesn't know who she is.
Nope.
Attempts not to swoon.
Haven't the slightest fucking clue. Also, his legs don't work.
Wait, is that like you saying that in character?
I'm talking. Sure.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
I am.
It's been that kind of day.
And
Already.
that's how Wolfric needed to res the others.
Morin is going to bow respectfully.
And
I'm going to follow
no
Probably
sword.
just did a nod.
and as Sanze has made her comment, the man in the wheelchair just kind of leans back and goes, he was just like, "It seems we have a master of the obvious among us."
I pride myself on it.
He was just like, "Well, it's better.
Did he
It's like it's better to notice the things that are right in front of you than to not notice them at all." I say.
Wait. I'm going to whisper in Torrent's ear. I might be able to fix him.
I think fix is also a
What's
very
with
relative term when spoken by your lips.
Torrent's gonna turn back to the doctor and be like, "Don't fucking touch him." Wait.
His legs can't get any more not working.
But I have.
No, but like his heart and other body parts could, so.
You know what they say, Captain Collateral.
But I don't have to touch him. I have magic hands.
I will leave that one alone.
Oriana kind of looks at the group, and her eyes stop for a second on Saze, and then they stop again on Valko, and then she's like, "I see you've made a few new additions." And when she looks at Valko, she just plainly says, "And it looks like you made your way out of the tomb after all. I thought maybe you would be gone." She was just like, "Such a pity." And Valko just kind of chuckles and looks over at her, and he was just like, "Well, it's not like I was there." And he was just like, "It's not like I was there to, steal from anyone."
I'm going to give him a questioning look.
Is that pointed at me?
No, because you weren't there.
Oh.
And then,
okay, yeah.
and then the man is sitting in the chair, and he was just like, "Please, come in, have a seat." And there are, like I described the room last time, and it's a very nice meeting room. There's couches and a very elegant table, and there are a porcelain tea set sitting on the table. The smell, you can definitely smell it from the doorway. Everything, all of the baked goods that are sitting on the table are obviously freshly made. And he was just like, "Please, have a seat, and allow me to introduce myself."
I'll have a seat.
I'm a sit.
I'm going to take a seat directly across from Madam.
Wait, are those baked goods up for grabs?
And he just kind of laughs and goes, "Well, I would hate for them to go to waste."
Oh, I'm gonna grab me some baked goods.
Fargrim, Fargrim's not there. God damn it. We'll circle back to that. I keep forgetting. Okay.
Morin is going to stand behind Holly and Torrent.
I cautiously sit down.
Then he's just like, and Oriana just kind of chuckles, and looks over. She looks over at the doctor, and she goes, "Now, Wolfric, you wouldn't happen to be afraid of me, now, would you?"
Torrent's gonna cut in, and she's gonna be like, "I think it's the exact opposite of that, ma'am."
Cue the mood lighting.
Loud, honorable gulp.
Get Dr. Lade Part 2.
Electric Boogaloo. God damn it.
I have physically read.
Super off key, like recorder plays in the background.
It's just like, and everybody looks, and it's just the orc, and he's like, sorry.
I just imagine the orc pulling out a kazoo and just doing the whole Careless Whisper on the kazoo.
Quick question, can I have a kazoo?
Maybe, we'll see.
I'll do you one better. Can I have 2 kazoos?
God damn it, I hate you people.
You love all of us!
Can a kazoo be kazooed, though? That's the question.
I guess. Okay. So, as you guys are choosing to sit down or not, God damn it. I keep laughing at the stupid kazoo thing. Fuck you guys.
I have to say we broke her a lot earlier in this campaign than I expected, so good job, everybody.
Guys, I was severely depressed for the past few days, so this is a fucking enjoyable.
Same.
Okay, and the man in the wheelchair just kind of leans back. He waves a hand, and the orc shuts the door. And he doesn't leave the room. He just kind of sidesteps over to the sidesteps away from the door and comes around the couch and just starts pouring you guys cups of tea. And
Okay,
the
what
man
kind of tea? It's important.
it's actually I will let you fucking see if you can test it.
Flips
And
out
find
T-boner.
Perception check.
Perception check if you would like to really know.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
How keen are your taste buds, ho?
Is it just... Okay, can I get a bonus considering how I was raised?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
I got a 12.
That is not a good perception.
I got a 22.
I got 18 without the bonus.
Morin gets a 5.
Holly doesn't touch it.
Correct.
It's just there.
Obviously, the Dragonborns aren't big on poisoning, so Morin doesn't have much experience with it.
I like how the Dragonborn, who has a morning tea ceremony, can't smell the fucking tea.
Yeah, I'll give you advantage for that. Go ahead and roll again.
Chill.
God damn it!
Much better. 18.
Okay. It's a it kind of tastes like Earl Grey, but a little bit of it you could taste the tiniest bit of raspberries in it. But
This man is obviously trying to poison us.
Are you gonna say that out loud?
Fucking raspberries in it?
Thank you! You don't... okay.
But as Oriana kind of sets her teacup down and the orc comes over to start giving you guys tea and everything, the man kind of leans forward a bit and goes and says, "Now, my name is Adam Fink. I am probably one of the leading members of the city council," and he was just like, "And I have heard a lot about some of you."
Which of us?
It wasn't me.
It was probably me.
Oh my gosh, really? Lay down.
Is your dog's in the room again?
He pushed his way in. Hold on, I'm sorry.
He's a pupper. You have to love them. They require it.
I think he's just sleepy. Let me get him under the covers.
That's what I do.
Morin,
Go ahead.
Morin is gonna ask, and pray tell, what have you heard?
He didn't answer my question.
What was your question, Torrent?
I said, which of us?
And then he's just like, "I haven't heard about this young lady here." He points to Saze. And then he looks over at Valko, and he's just like, and I was not aware that you were traveling with them. And
Well, if it makes you feel better, I'm new. Relatively.
and then for Morden's question, let's just do order of events. And he was just like, I have heard that you've dealt with the undead that were attacking Hoskoth. And that you were essential in stopping the, let's just say, unwanted guests in Oriana's crypt.
Grumbles.
Though, I would like to say that allow me to be the first to say that we are very grateful for all of the work that you've put in to assist Oriana.
And may I ask who is the?
Like wait, you asking who he is?
No, he said he said we.
Oh, yeah. Okay. And then he was just like, well, the city as a whole. Between the bridge is the only way to pass into Eston, and the dead begin piling up underneath. It's just they were more likely to come out from the Undercity if they managed to make their way upwards. Thankfully, that did not happen, as everything seems to have been dealt with. And,
So did he mean like piling up like on the bridge itself, or?
Well, if you guys remember when I explained, just a quick recap since it's been a while, when you guys were coming into Eston, the point sloped down right as the reason why that bridge is there. Everything under the bridge it sloped down into what looked like a flurry of mud and sand. And so basically, it was a very steep drop before it came back up to where the city was built. Because the entire city is considered floating in a way, with the way that there is like a large drop, like a moat, sort of.
So it's kind of built like on, like, for lack of a better word, a plateau.
Yes.
Okay. Terrible structural stability, but okay.
And Oriana just is picking out one of the muffins that she picks up from the table, and she goes, Adam here is, I guess, what you would call one of the most important people in the city. And Valko just kind of crosses his legs as he sets them on the table, and he is just like, why don't you speak the truth? He's a mob boss.
Now you piqued my interest.
What kind of mob?
And Adam just kind of chuckles, and he's just like, He's like, it is true. There are two basic crime families that run the entirety of Hoskoth, and one of them is led by yours truly. The other family, the Gore family, are not as hospitable as we are. Which is why I'm glad that the confrontation in the marketplace didn't escalate to unmanageable.
No, we've got our handy dandy scary little tiefling to handle that.
Grumbles under my breath, meaning so other people can't hear. Talks her way out of trouble like she talks her way into.
Can I roll perception to see if I heard it?
You can try, why not?
Yeah, so I nat one on that. That's not gonna happen.
Blissfully ignorant.
Yep. Ow. Fuck.
Not!
There's her punishment for the nat 1.
You did it to yourself.
Yeah, slamming my knee into a desk is great punishment for not wanting. Thanks.
I've done that to myself quite a few times, so do not worry. I feel your pain.
Thank you.
And and then Adam kind of turns his attention and looks directly at Holly, and he kind of leans forward in his chair a bit, and he goes, "Young lady, I must ask, is there a purpose to your visit in this city?"
Well, they're here, and my hands like to the rest of my group, like hold my hands out.
So it was just a matter of companionship, not of an actual goal.
Well, it's easier to travel in a group.
I can imagine.
Why are you interrogating her?
And he just kind of smiles a little bit and looks over at Wolfric and says, "If this was an interrogation, I could make it a lot more unpleasant."
Oh, please do.
I'd like to see you try.
Please.
Morin squares up and blows sparks.
Protect Holly 2K19.
Yeah.
I'm going to perception check the room.
Yeah, go ahead.
I am looking. I'm just looking for shit that I don't trust. Ah! No, D20, don't run!
That's how that went.
Is that karma for him saying me hitting my knee on the desk was karma?
I think that should be an automatic nat 1.
Yeah.
You know, if I wasn't an honorable man that didn't take rolls that hit the floor, I would have been a nat 20. So this is obviously gonna be a nat 1 now. Oh well, fuck. That's 12 total.
Yeah. So sorry, eating at the same time. Sorry, guys. The room itself is quite well put together. Like I said, everything in this room is really nice. But as it's easy enough to tell, between the carpet and everything, it doesn't look like this room ever sees much use. Because everything just seems a little too new.
Is there a mirror in the room?
There is not.
Okay. What about pictures?
Nope.
A bookcase?
There is.
How many?
There's it's got two sections. It's two
So
rows.
one-
It's just one book. Yeah, it's one bookcase, but it's got two rows. There are columns. Goddamn.
I'm going to get up and go closer and inspect the bookcase.
Okay. And Adam just kind of looks around, noticing the level of both disinterest and intensity in the room, and he's just like, "I suppose it would be best to explain." And as he looks over to Valko and says, "I was hoping that you would explain for me, but I guess you're just like you."
No, I'd rather hear you explain it.
And Valko just kind of looks over and goes, "Should I be offended?"
No.
Actually, can I perception check the guy in the wheelchair? I'm gonna see if, like, I don't know, if I can tell something off his actions, if he's like acting nervous or something like that. Like there might be something up that we don't know.
Oh, go ahead.
Just the base perception, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Insight?
Insight works too, actually. Goddamn.
Oh, it does? Oh, fuck yeah. Cool. That's an 11.
You got an 11?
Yeah.
Well, you only had to pass a 10, so you're fine.
Oh, yeah.
You can tell right away that this guy in a wheelchair is not even the tiniest bit threatened by all of you. He's relaxed. He's basically it seems like he's enjoying the confrontation. Just by looking at him, despite his suit that he's wearing looks like maybe it was made for him because it's well fitted. You can tell just by taking just by looking over him that when he moves his hands that his arms are not at all thin. He's not weak at all in the slightest. Like if he hit you, you would probably bleed.
Well, of course his arms are buff. He always skips leg day.
How? Speaking of skipping leg day, can I tell anything about the physical health of his legs, like through his pants and that?
Read my fucking mind.
Basically, yeah, from what you can tell, because he is wearing, like I said, despite them not being in use, he is wearing nice pants and nice shoes. But you can tell, one of his legs, it doesn't seem like he's noticed, but one of his legs is slipped off the edge of the wheel, you know how wheelchairs have those little steps to hold your feet?
Yeah.
One of his legs has slipped off of the edge slightly, but he hasn't even noticed it. You can tell by the way that it's turned that that's not a natural position, so he likely can't feel anything.
Interesting. Okay, thank you.
I'm gonna perception check the bookcase.
Okay, go ahead.
Can I do an investigative check instead? Because I'm looking. I think we can all figure out what I'm explicitly looking for.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sweet.
Is this gonna be the bar situation again?
That, my friends, is a 23.
Okay. This bookcase is surprisingly well put together. It's not a secret door. You could tell that right away. But some of these books on this bookcase look like they were placed there as just like as decoration to make it look like the room was used for more than just sitting and talking in. Like it had an actual purpose to it. Some of these books are some pretty basic books, but it's very obvious in some of the books that there's papers or even envelopes just wedged between them.
Can I tell if any of these
Sean,
books are fake?
I'll give myself something to drink. Let me know if I miss something important.
No, none of the books are fake. Okay. None of these books are fake, but one of these you could tell is wearing a paper cover that doesn't belong to it.
I'm gonna take it off.
So you're gonna go ahead and pull it out and take it off?
Yeah.
Okay. As you do so, when you remove that cover, it was a nicely. It seems like it was a painted cover, but the book itself is a leather bound book, and the corner top part of it is burned.
Is burned?
Yes.
Although I am already feeling like I'm taking way up too much time for myself, I'm gonna do an Arcana check.
Go ahead.
That's a 16.
Yeah, definitely from the remnants of this burn mark. The book itself does not have any magic, but you could tell that this book was definitely scarred by magic.
I miss anything?
Okay. So, God, everything just went quiet. Did you just mute yourself? Or did I get kicked out of Skype again?
No,
I'm here.
I'm here.
No, you're here.
Okay, God, thank goodness. Okay, so as of course Torrent said that she wanted to hear him explain it. And then of course I get booted from Skype. 1 second. 1 second. Doodly doo. Doodly doo. join.
No, she's still part of the call.
I'm
One
back.
of us. But
Can't we?
I was right. It did boot me.
there she is.
You're back.
Hey,
I'm back. I'm back. Okay.
What
We
happened?
were looking for you.
Yeah, it booted me from Skype because it hates me. Okay. So he was just like, I would be happy to explain. He was just like, although I assumed that a member of the Silver Pinnacle would have taken the precaution.
Well, you see, there's a difference here. I trust him. I don't trust you. So I'd like to hear the words from your mouth and then his take on it.
Yes. Now, about a year and a half ago, there was an incident involving myself and the leader of the Gore family. We were meeting to discuss, usual things, territory, distribution, was considered acceptable practices in the city and what was not. And then a blue-skinned tiefling decided that it was going to crash our party. The incident, which was had very few survivors, put myself in a difficult position, but also put the Gore family heir into a coma. So since that moment, there has been a stigma in the city surrounding any tieflings. And your friend here just so happens to match the description of one of them.
Oh, lovely.
Holly's just gonna shake her head and sigh.
I just remembered that Holly was blue.
She's light blue.
I'm fluent.
Yeah. Dying, guys.
Don't do that.
He's like, considering the limited information the Gore family has on the incident, they are incredibly hostile. Whereas I myself was actually in attendance and fully aware that the tiefling who attacked us was a man.
And you haven't thought of spreading this information?
I have, but the current head of the Gore family doesn't like to listen to common sense.
Whoa, what did he look
sense.
like?
Let's see. A sprightly fellow, white hair. Just like he resembled yourself quite a bit, horns and all, but he didn't have any life in his eyes. I myself survived because, quite frankly, he couldn't keep up with me at the time.
Wolfric at this point is going to turn back, go back to his, put the book back, and go back to his seat and look at him questioningly.
And at that, he just kind of laughs again and goes, "Yes, it's hard to imagine, but I was not always in this wheelchair." That was a development that came after.
Did he so happen to have someone else with him? And Holly's speaking this like very slowly.
No. He was alone.
Torrance just kind of gonna look over at Holly and then like reach over and pat her hand comfortingly.
Yeah, Holly's hand's just like slowly lean to like a fist, but like not obvious.
But while the Gore family is all set to breed contempt among the races, I am not, as is likely plain to see. We are gearing up for an event, the Inventors Convention, which I have spent the past month tirelessly organizing.
So how exactly does this involve us as
I can't
Hold
hear you,
up.
Circe. Where'd you go?
So how exactly does that involve us as a group?
A number of reasons. One, I felt it was best that if Miss Holly if wasn't truly informed of the nature as to why she was attacked, it was a liberty that she deserved. Second, I heard that you are capable of taking care of yourselves. So I thought, since you were quite helpful to the dead witch herself, I might hire you for, let's just say, personal favor.
In that personal favor would
What
be
exactly would the favor be?
As it's quite obvious, he pats his legs, and though with the force of which he pats his legs, you can see that his knees shake, but he obviously didn't feel it, because he didn't flinch or anything. And he's just like, it is obvious that I can't walk. There's a
Oh,
the
Wait, that's not just a comfortable chair?
Hold on, I think Circe's talking again because the little circle thing went around him, but like couldn't hear him.
Yeah, seriously, you sound far away.
God damn this fucking. No, I was being a sarcastic asshole. I went, what? No.
The Inventors Convention had a secondary motivation. I wanted to open up Hoskoth to other nations. A lot of the nations in the far edge are very secluded, and I wanted to, obviously you've seen the outside settlements, some of them are worse for wear, and I would like to expand that so that everything is not so separated. The Gore family are content to let everybody fend for themselves outside the city and even inside the city. So, I set up this little convention to lure people with different skills to the city, and hopefully this will motivate some to stick around. Now, I personally am looking for a specific skill master. One who deals in creating how to
Life inside legs?
actually new legs altogether.
Oh. I might be able to do the first one, second one I can't.
The damage that has been done to my legs cannot be undone. I have met many wielders of magic and doctors, and it has had no effect. So, rather than dwelling on these old things, yet partaking of someone else's services to acquire new legs seems quite the better option. And I have it on good authority that the doll maker himself will be coming to the convention. I would like you all to see if you can find this person.
I mean, if
Excuse me, it's a what?
Quick side note, just as a medical professional, the problem with him not being able to use his legs might not be like the legs themselves. They could be, like a brain injury, spinal injury, etc.
Jess,
So
stop overthinking.
how is he sure that's gonna solve it?
Is that your in-game question or out-of-game question?
The second part is the little medical spiel thing is not, because Torrent doesn't know shit about medicine.
Then he's just like, well, the doll maker has done many things that have been considered impossible, so it is, at the moment, my best choice.
Wait, if the doll maker's coming to your convention and you're the one who's organizing it, wouldn't you know where he would be?
Nobody knows what the doll maker truly looks like. He does things as he desires, and then he just wanders off.
Then how are we supposed to identify him?
Well, that's the trick, isn't it?
I doubt it's just a dude walking around with a bunch of dolls hanging off his chest. Couldn't be that easy.
That's why I'm planning to pay you for it.
So, real quick, out of character. Fuck you, Shay. That is all.
Okay.
Okay, so in character, Torrent's gonna, turn to Valco now and be like, alright, I said I wanted to hear it from him, and then your take. Do you trust everything he said? Do you think that we should have any part in this?
And Valco just kind of looks over, takes his feet off the table, and stands up and goes, well, I don't mind either way. Everything he said is true. But, and he is just like, he turns and he gives a joking salute to Adam and goes, I have a mission of my own. And he walks out the door.
What's the pay? Exactly.
He just kind of, and Adam looks at you and goes, that is the question. Now, I was prepared to pay you each 500 gold, but I feel like for as complicated as the issue is, that there might be something else you might desire.
Something like?
And he was just like, and he looks over at Oriana, and he was just like, something that some of you might like. Information. I would still be happy to pay you the 500 gold, but I am fairly certain that if there is anything you are specifically looking for, I can provide whatever information I can find.
How about you pay us in both?
I was already planning to.
I have an idea. How about you... Wait. Shit, I lost it.
So, to clarify, all that you really want from us is to go to your convention and find the doll maker, and either bring him to you or get him to agree to make you new legs.
It sounds quite simple when you put it that way.
Well, I'm just saying, you told us all the history of the racial issues and the problems you've had with this other mob family, and the only thing that you really want from us is to get you new legs. The history was kind of pointless there, don't you think?
The history was explaining the purpose as to why your friend is likely in a small level of danger wandering about the city. Now, if these terms are agreed to, I could definitely amend that situation as well, if that is what you would like.
This isn't one of those favors where it keeps going and going, and we're pretty much in your debt the whole time.
Nonsense. Do I look like a monster to you? Or a gore? No. No, it's simply a matter of, you do this for me, and I pay you for services rendered.
Well, you can't be too careful.
Could you do us a favor and leave the room for a moment so we can decide amongst ourselves?
And then he shrugs and goes, of course. And then when he waves his hand, the orc comes over and just wheels him out of the room.
So,
And Oriana's still, like, basically on her next cup of tea, and she just kind of chuckles and goes, "You are good at wandering into complicated situations, aren't you?"
I feel like you're the one who's good at leading us into them.
She's like,
Loud gulp.
I don't mean that with any disrespect. You always seem to be where we follow the trouble.
"Nonsense. Don't think that you're able to disrespect me. I respect your candor, at least at this point. But no, when it comes to the main affairs of Hoskoth, that is my business. And so you're stuck with me at least until you leave the country."
I don't think any of us, Torrent looks at the doctor pointedly, has any problem with you being around. By the way,
Holly just shreds like, like small.
I feel like, by the way, and I'm gonna gesture at Saze and Valko.
Valko left.
Be like, huh?
Valko left.
Yeah, Valko left. Never mind. My
Valko's
brain's not
yoked
working
from the
today.
room.
I'm gonna gesture at Saze, and I'm gonna say you two haven't actually introduced yourselves to each other yet.
Yeah.
Indeed, we haven't. And then Oriana just kind of crosses her legs over and goes, "My name is Oriana. I am the resident witch, as some might call me, the dead witch. I'm responsible for keeping the corpses where they belong."
Sounds like quite the interesting job.
She is being too humble.
Well, my name is Saze. I think it's a pleasure to meet you, and I'm sure we'll see more of each other in the future.
She's like, "If you're sticking around the convention, I don't doubt. I am a guest myself."
So, off the record, is there any chance you know something about this doll man that you haven't already disclosed with Adam?
Adam is as stubborn as they come. The doll maker is, or at least from what I know, was a talented individual. When he saw injuries, illnesses, he never saw a problem, he saw an opportunity. There are quite a few who would kill, in fact, for one of his creations.
I am going to shuffle my hands, trying to be quietly and failing, and I am going to pull Squeaks out of my bag and start petting him vigorously.
Well, I don't know how much the rest of y'all trust training wheels, but this whole situation just seems fishy.
And I'm not really crazy about throwing ourselves into the middle of a mob war. Because you know if we help him, the other family's going to take offense.
Well,
they already have problems with us because we have Polly.
That
Yeah,
does sound
and I'd rather
that
stay
sounds kind of
alive.
straightforward.
And Oriana just kind of laughs and goes, "Oh gosh, no. Mob wars don't happen in Eston. That would be too easy." Thankfully, most of the fighting is done behind closed doors, with words and usually poison.
Oh, lovely.
I'm gonna run a medicine check on myself.
Go ahead.
Morin's gonna grumble about cowards.
23.
There is... Now, the Gore family themselves only really have one main enforcer, who you should probably keep an eye out for. But Adam himself is quite the man of the people.
Yeah, that's a good cover he'd have for himself. You know, should things get shady.
Yes, well, the Fink
I thought
family...
he'd be a man at the chairs.
Oh, shit.
Wait, what?
I thought he'd be a man of the chairs. And yes, that was in character, by the way.
You did the accent, so I assumed.
He seemed to be in quite the hot seat.
Please stop. All of you. And she goes, the Fink family has been notorious for trying to keep most of their fighting subtle and quick, as to not endanger most of the city. Whereas the Gore family are messy and annoying. At least the Fink family is reasonable.
So, he said he's heard about all of us. I think it's safe to say we're not exactly quiet. Why would he...
loudly.
Why would he want to hire a bunch of troublemakers instead of using his own people discreetly?
Could be that he's expecting us to be noisy like we tend to be to cover up something he's doing. At least
Exactly.
that's how I do it.
Well,
Whatever angle I look at this, I don't trust this man.
I'd say you're about half right. If Fink used his own man to scour the city over something that's supposed to be a neutral event, then the Gore family will definitely take offense to it. Now, if he outsourced the task to people who were simply enjoying themselves and already have a penchant for getting in trouble, then he is not liable.
So essentially, if shit hits the fan, we never existed, and we get to deal with ourselves.
We are the scapegoats.
He is a mob boss.
I don't like him.
Pretty predictable.
I don't trust him.
Now, no one ever said that you had to trust somebody who's paying you. Most of the time, if you do, you're basically fooling yourself.
You have to trust him to pay you.
Giving me, what makes you think that I trust him to pay me on the other side of it?
Well, I wouldn't say that you're harmless.
Fair enough, but this is a large city. He's a mob boss. He has multiple connections. Who's to say he won't just disappear?
In this city, you will never see Adam Fink disappear.
Well, if I have your word on that, I'm going to look at everyone else. Are we thinking we're going to take this job?
If anything, it'll keep the days interesting, I suppose.
I am interested in meeting this Dollmacher.
Morin is gonna growl and say, "While our answers still lie in the city, our pockets are getting light."
Well, yours might. Mine
They're
are.
actually pretty full.
Morin's gonna raise a pointed eyebrow at Saze.
Just fucking finger guns.
Wolfrick's gonna check his pockets.
I'm just gonna look at Morin and snap a finger at him.
Torrance is kind of going to pat the little pouch on her belt and then, move her jacket back over.
OOC, how much fucking gold did I steal?
Sorry, 1 second. Let me text her.
Oh my...
Oh my god. Oh god, I almost choked on pasta.
Okay, don't choke.
I was honestly waiting for someone to make a joke out of that.
Yeah, don't fuck with the DM unless you want to die.
Even I know that.
But I want to die.
Character's built on sass.
Because you're a piece of shit who rolled high to pickpocket everybody, I just put it in the chat.
Oh, holy shit. I am okay with all of this.
Yo! You buy him next round.
Yo, you gonna suck my dick?
Okay, progress. I would like to get back to where Fargrim is, so come on, make conversation. Conversate. Ask
I'll
my
still-
questions. Go ahead.
I'll still rather not die. But if everyone's
I'm
in,
gonna look at her like super seriously and be like, you know we will never let that happen.
Death is only a
Holly-
changing state.
Holly's just gonna wink and be like, I'm in.
Fuck it, why not?
We could all use a little excitement and a little more money. Sure.
Warren's gonna crack his neck twice and then say, well, seems like we have another adventure, friends.
Torrent's gonna get up and go to like the door that they walked out of and open it.
As you do, and once you, because it's just a long hallway, when you look to one of the ends of the hallway, the orc man is standing at the far end of the hallway, which is at least 20 feet away from the door. So he was actually respecting y'all's privacy.
Chill.
Once he sees you open the door, he turns his head and quickly just walks over.
I'm gonna like open the door wide and back away from the opening so he can come into the room.
As he just kind of ducks his head under the door frame and steps in.
Then I'm gonna nod to everyone else in the room.
And as you do that, Squeaks wiggles his way out from Wulfric's grip and has circled the orc and just perched onto his shoulder again.
You can't be doing that to people anymore. Stop! Come back here.
And he just
Please.
squeaks at you defiantly before circling the man's shoulders.
I'd like my companion back, please. It's Mr. Scary Orc Man.
And he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a small bit of jerky and hands it to Squeaks, and before taking Squeaks off his shoulder and handing it back, and he's just like, sorry, he probably smelled that.
He's got a whole... Checks bag. How did you eat all of the month's supply of rations?
And he just kind of tilts his head as like ears flop over as he squeaks at you again.
Oh, if you weren't so cute, I'd be angry.
Starting to think that Squeaks is getting pretty thick.
He's a growing boy.
He ain't a growing boy, he's a baby boy.
As long as he doesn't turn into the big chungus, I'm okay.
He's gonna.
And the orc kind of looks around and goes, has a decision been made?
We'll do the job.
I see. And he turns and he ducks back out of the doorway and just starts walking down the hallway. And he after he gets a few steps, he stops, turns, and he goes, "Are you coming?"
I guess. I'll like push the door wide open so everyone else can follow through, and I'm gonna follow him.
I'll follow.
Yay, we all follow down the single file line.
Well,
Like
the hall
kindergartner!
well,
I'm gonna be behind the dead witch.
She's not going anywhere.
Damn it!
Oh, I thought he was gonna come with us. Otherwise, I would have said goodbye. Now I'm rude.
We all know that I'm going. Actually, as we leave the door, as I leave, and I see that she's not coming with. I'm going to say, I actually need to speak to you about something later.
And she kind of just glances over at you before going back to her tea. She's like, "Well, I would like to finish my tea first. It is rude to leave it. So I will be here."
Holly's rude.
Holly's rude.
Torrance rude.
Holly don't give a fuck.
Don't ever waste tea. Down that shit. Poisons be damned.
Like shots on Saturday night.
I dare that shit to kill me. Do it.
Just like the vine. It's just like we all die. You either kill yourself or get killed. What you gonna do?
What you gonna do?
Y'all can't kill me if I kill myself. Poisons my own tea.
God damn it. Yeah, and she's just like, I will be here for the whole convention. I'm fairly certain I will see you after.
Okay, thank you.
And you guys follow the orc down the hallway. He goes up a small set of stairs and down a separate hallway. And he stops in front of a door and just kind of knocks on it gently. And you hear Adam's voice from the other side, and he's like, "Come in." And as you guys enter this, you realize that this door and is into a small green room. The back window goes from a wall, and then halfway through the wall, it's to glass panes that go up to the roof. That partially part of the roof is glass itself. And he's watering a small grouping of potted plants. And he kind of stops what he's doing and glances at you for a second and goes, "I see you've made your decision," and then goes back to what he's doing.
Morn's gonna walk over to the plants and
That was Torrance.
just start examining them, feeling the leaves, trying to figuring out what plant they are.
Go ahead and run me nature checks.
Indeed. $17.
So a lot of these plants are variety. There's one section that's just flowers, but it looks like they're organized quite well. There's one section that's flowers. There's one that you can tell is more of berries and different plants, and some of these are food. Like a lot of these are homegrown vegetables and such. The little plants that he is watering, which is strange on its own, are dandelions.
Morin is going to look at him and say, or look at Adam and say, "An impressive collection you have here. I have only seen one rivaling it in my home, where the Fumo kept me."
And he just kind of glances over at you, and he's like, "That's nice." He is just like, "That's nice. That's nice of you to say." Well, and he was just like, "I would love to see such a garden. If he was just like, if I could get back to traveling, that would be wonderful." And he kind of sets down the little pot that he's in his hands, which is one of the dandelions. And when he sets it down on the little shelf that it's on, there's several other plants with several other little planters with the dandelions. And he turns the wheelchair slightly, and he's like, "This collection is not actually mine. It belonged to my older brother. But I seem to have inherited it, and I will be damned if I let them all die."
Are there any that still need to be watered?
It's like, "Oh, these are just my little personal project. Iruga waters them every day." And he motions over to the orc.
What's his name?
Iruga. It's Iruga.
I feel like this orc needs to be in a maid's outfit.
Tell him
I
that.
feel like this orc is like Alfred and
I'm
just
getting-
tired of putting up with Bruce Wayne's shit because
Honest-
he's injured himself being Batman.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm getting Black Butler vibes from this orc, and I don't know why, and it's terrifying. Like he's gonna bust out the cutlery and start murking bitches left and right.
I'll have Walter here peel your dick like a banana.
Goddamn.
I'm gonna raise my voice and speak to Adam.
Mm.
I'm gonna say, I do believe that we've all agreed to take part in this little venture of yours. However, there is one request I'd like to make on behalf of myself and anyone in the party who'd like to join me after they hear it. Considering the nature and the possibility of getting stuck in a mob war slash not an actual mob war because people in the city won't actually fight each other, I request half of the payment up front, just as a insurance sort of policy, should things turn absolutely south.
I agree.
Same.
And he just kind of he.
I'd like half of each of the forms of payment.
You want half of the information too?
Half information, half of my money.
Maybe.
Wait! I'm remembering the month supply of rations that is now gone thanks to Squeaks. I'll take all of the money.
How fucking expensive are your rations?
I don't know. Ask the tiny monster.
Considering it was a month's supply of rations enough for me, Squeaks, and 3 people. Yes, 3.
Mora's gonna move over to the berries and the fruit.
Sure.
And as Morden's walking over, he was just like, I would stay away from there if I were you.
Perception check?
Yeah, go ahead.
Would feral instinct help me at all?
Yeah, in this one, I'll give it to you.
I'll take that nat 20.
You very easily see a coiled up, brightly colored, almost kaleidoscope-like snake under one of the raspberry bushes, and he is currently trying to force down a rather large rat. He's just like, yes, Osir is enjoying his meal and he doesn't like to be bothered. It's just like he is very affectionate when he's not hungry.
What's the snake's name?
Usir, it's Usyr.
What to do? Morin is going to get down on all four. Morin's going to get down on his belly and start speaking to the snake in Draconic. Just, soothing words like you would talk to a pet.
Okay, what are you gonna say?
Just like, come here, beautiful. You look very good. Is that tasty? Stuff like that.
Holly's just gonna smile as she's listening. In chuckle.
And Usir just looks, and you can see a little. You could just see the little tail hanging out of his mouth. And suddenly the tail is gone, and he just slowly starts slithering out from under the bush, and you realize he is a lot bigger than you first thought.
Warren lives in the mountains. He's seen big things. It's okay.
Yeah, and as he's coming out from under the raspberry, now all of you can see it because as he's coming out from under the raspberry bushes, the light from the windows overhead is catching against his scales, and he just shimmers as he is making his way to circle around Morin and being as nosy as possible.
Hold up. Perception check to see exactly how big this fucking snake is.
He already rolled a nat 20, so I will give it to you guys because I was not actually going to make the snake come out. This snake is at least 30 feet long.
I'm gonna look at Warren and I'm gonna speak to him and I'm gonna say, lizard boy, we can play with the very pretty and very big snake after business is concluded, if you please.
Warren's going to move up on his haunches, with his knees still on the ground. Has the snake, or has, what's the name? Usir. I had it written down. Has Usir touched me or nuzzled me at all?
Yeah, he's basically just laid all across you since you were laying on the ground.
Oh my Christ.
And he's just really curious. He's sticking his nose in your bag. He's seeing what your tobacco smells like. His little tongue is going everywhere.
Be right back.
Yes.
So Torrent kind of wants to pet the snake.
You better roll me animal handling. I let him ride that nat 20.
Yes, she did.
I don't think I'm going to, though, because I don't have good stats in animal handling, so I'm just going to stand back and admire the snake from afar.
Okay, well, while the Dragonborn plays with his cousin, I am going to turn my head to Adam and say, do we have a deal?
And he holds out his hand and he says, deal.
I'm assuming the hands for a handshake?
Yep.
I tentatively shake his hand.
You do notice when you shake his hand that he has got a very firm grip. Like, as if his strength is not just from pushing himself around in a wheelchair all day long.
Yeah, like he works out, I'm assuming. Like, keeping, all the good stuff.
Yep. Is that what you guys are doing? Are you guys leaving here?
Yes.
I actually do have one more question for Adam, information-wise, more because he just knows the city. I'm gonna ask: Is there? I'm assuming this city has many different weapon vendors and blacksmiths. I'm going to assume.
Yes, they do.
Do you have anyone that are particularly more far off or exotic persuasion? Weapons you wouldn't normally see in this country per se.
Oh, considering the convention, we have at least 10 blacksmiths on our guest list. You would only have to wait for them to set up. The events start tomorrow.
Do you know the location where they're going to be? Where they're going to be at?
I personally do not. I do not handle the actual arrangements. I handled everything else. I handle the invitations and such, but at the actual arrangements themselves, I'm sure. And he goes, Iruga! And he snaps his fingers, and the orc leaves, and several moments later he returns with a hand-drawn map of the whole center of town. And he's just like, that should give you any directions to which stalls that you would prefer. And he's just like, and should be the easiest way to find blacksmiths.
Oh, I thank you kindly, and I grab the map from him.
Like, now, is there anything else I can do for you?
I do believe that concludes our business.
Very well then. And so, Aruga's like after you guys are done playing with the snack, of course. Aruga's he fetched money. He hands each of you the half payment, so you're each getting 250 gold. And he handed Wolfric his full payment because he asked for it. So Wolfric has 500 gold.
Whoa.
And as you guys are being led out, you're not being led out the way you came in, considering you came from the Undercity. He's leading you down what would be the front of the home, where there's of course the two descending staircases that go into one. And in front of the as you guys are going down, in the center piece of this staircase, on the wall, there's a very large painted portrait, in which is very similar to the guy when you guys saw last time when you were initially coming into the house. This is a larger version of it, of a, once again, like I said, an older dark elf man, a younger dark elf man, and a young boy that looks a lot like Adam.
What was that again?
The portrait, the painting, is of an older dark elf man, an older drow, a younger drow, and a young boy that looks remarkably like Adam.
Good.
And Iruga basically walks you all to the front door, and he holds the door open for you guys as you leave. Are you guys choosing to head back to where you left Fargrim?
Morin bows to the butler as he closes the door, and then turns to the group and says, "I believe we should go get Fargrim."
Agreed.
Mike, you still there? Did you die?
I've been completely gone this entire time.
Mm-hmm. Sure you have. Which is fair, and I'm sorry. I was trying to get back to you as quickly as possible.
It only took 2 hours.
Yeah, guys.
Shenanigans ensue.
I mean, we've only been in this call for like an hour and 30 minutes, so.
Okay. So you guys are heading back to the safe house that Valko has set y'all up in. As you guys are leaving Fink's estate, Valko is waiting, leaning up against the outside gate. And then he just kind of looks over and goes, "Well, you all took your sweet time."
I'll look at him and be like, "You didn't go far."
He's just like, "If I would abandon you all, I feel like it would be a little rude."
Agreed.
Okay, and y'all are gonna go back to the safe house. Evens or odds?
Odds, because we are a bunch of oddballs.
Okay, that's fair. Alright. And you guys make it back to the safe house without any incident. And you have returned just in time. And of course, you guys are circling around the back of this house because the first time when you came in, you noticed that everything was basically blocking the doorway. When you circle coming into the back, whereas it looks like just a wall, Valko drags one of the edges of his gauntlet across the wall to mark a symbol into one of the bricks, and then the door opens up. And as you guys are coming in, Fargrim is coming down the stairs, just now waking up.
Oh, I am?
Yep. You just now woke up in a strange place, even though you were sleeping the entire cart ride.
There's our sleeping beauty.
Hi. So, going to be explaining this to me? Where the hell are we?
Torrance gonna just look at Velko.
And Valko just kind of shrugs and goes, "We're in Eston, my dear dwarf, our desired destination. Like, I believe there was a convention that we were interested in seeing."
And nobody bothered to wake me up.
It doesn't start until tomorrow.
He's just like, as heavy as your tolerance for drinking is, that's as heavy as you sleep. We did try.
But you'll be happy to know, my friend, we have a job.
Oh, the mob boss made the deal without knowing he's paying Fodrum too.
Hold
None
on.
of us mentioned all this.
Were we given money to give to Fargrim?
You were
No.
not.
None of us mentioned him. We failed.
So what I'm going to do, as an extent of good friendship and possibly, keeping me from having to replace another organ, I'm going to hand him half of what I received.
Okay.
This is your cut. Please don't shoot me.
I'm just going to look at it. How much does it look like he's handing me?
It's 250 gold. It's quite a bit.
That he's handing me.
Yes.
Alright, so I'm going to look him up and down and be like, so what's the price? Well, what is this payment for? What is this job?
We're to find the doll maker at the convention.
I'm sorry. What?
A man who goes, or woman, who goes by the name Doll Maker. That's virtually all we know about him.
And we're doing what?
We're going to convince him to make new legs for this one guy who's in a wheelchair. It's a long
And a mob boss.
story. Oh yes, that, and he's a crime lord. We don't like him.
So, you all accepted a job to convince an artisan to make legs for a mob boss.
Yep, that's about what it boils down to.
And
Yeah,
Valko raises his hand. I didn't.
And the amount of money, I imagine you all got paid?
We all got half. 250 gold. We'll get the other half after completion, along with information he promised but did not specify.
And none of you thought that'd be the teeny weeniest little bit suspicious?
Oh, it's incredibly suspicious, but
We can
just do what
always
the deal
we
of
can
bacon
always
time.
keep the legs that the doll maker makes.
We gotta do it legs! What good is that? You still have yours!
I can make you taller.
Fargrim's definitely going to be pulling out Press Frog at that comment and just like
I gave you
slowly
money.
just-
I mean no offense.
slowly just pulling the pistol out of its holster. Just
I
click
duck
as
behind
he
the nearest
slowly
cover I
pulls the
can.
hammer back.
As Wolfric hides behind the couch. It was just like, wow. And then Valko just kind of looks over and goes, well, I assume you're staying in for the evening?
Morin's gonna pipe up.
Depends on what our other
On
options
the
are.
way here to meet the greatest artisans that are on this continent, and you think I'm going to stay in after sleeping this long?
They don't arrive. It was like, they're not opening up stalls till tomorrow. The convention hasn't begun yet.
That doesn't mean that they're not here, or that there aren't other things to be done.
There's always taverns.
There are always
And
others.
Valko
But
just
let's go with
kinda-
our head in mind.
Valko just adjusts his scarf, and he's like, well, the only reason I'm asking is, I'm going out.
Where are you going?
And he just grins like a toothy grin at Torrent and goes, "A brothel," and then just walks out the door.
That I am not surprised. It's the only way he could get anything is paid for it.
Morin's going to finish catching Fargrim up by saying, "Well, Fargrim, he's a covretta, a broken man. He, after a certain incident, which he did not reveal the details to us."
His legs don't work!
Points at Saze. Yes.
I'm calling him training.
That's his name now.
So, tragedy abounds everywhere. Why would we get involved in this? Why would I get involved in this?
Lots of money.
Well, we got involved basically because we felt like it would be interesting.
Also lots of money.
Also lots of money, yes. You would get involved because all of your best friends, and I gesture around at all of us, are doing so. Or, because you also want lots of money.
So Fargrim is going to get really, really grumbly at that. Like straight harumph-esque, like grumbly. And kind of mumble him to himself. You'll catch like little tidbits. Not what we like, little things like not what we're here for, not what I wanted, little things like that as he kind of just like growls to himself.
Did we also mention that he's one of the artisans that's going to be at the fair? So 2 birds, 1 stone? Ducks behind the couch again?
And be like, you don't have to partake in it. It's a decision that we made when you went there. We're not going to make your choices for you. I understand that there's another reason that we're here, and yes, our job will be completed at the Inventors Convention, so we all felt like 2 birds, 1 stone, as the doctor said. But it's not something that you have to be a part of if you don't want to.
Please don't die.
Please.
Yeah, we both got sick at like the same time.
I mean, you live together, that makes sense.
It's a shitty feeling, isn't it?
Michael, did you forget to unmute your mic?
No?
Okay.
I was thinking about how to respond.
Okay.
Well, real quick, out of character, what are we doing at the city? 'Cause I don't think I was here whenever like the reason we were going to the city was revealed or thought of.
Literally for our own reasons. Everything.
Oh,
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we're here because Falgrim thinks that there will be,
other dwarves.
Yeah, other dwarves here.
At the very least, that there would be a lead to his clan that's missing.
Oh, so your clan's missing, and you're trying to find them, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, because literally since the day we met the Dead Witch, she's been telling us to come here, so like...
Who all knows about your clan in the group? I'm assuming I don't, because I don't remember you telling me that at all.
No, I've only told, let's see.
It was Holly, Morden, and Torrent, because they were having a drinking match, and that's when Morden chugged a keg.
Yeah.
Yeah, good times.
The first time.
True enough.
Yeah. So, they're the only ones that know my motivations as far as my clan goes, but then again, it was brought up again when it came to the actual inventors, because I wanted to find some new technology for my guns as well.
Mm.
Okay.
Yep.
Sorry,
and you got the Sparky Boom Crystal.
The Sparky Boom Crystal?
Yeah, that's...
The Sparky Boom Crystal.
I'm sorry, I didn't get one of those. I got a frost grenade that I made from the stuff that you gave me, Shay, but I didn't get a Sparky Boom Crystal.
You got that crystal from the Dead Witch. Long ass time ago. This will probably be, since that it's been a while, this is the only time I will remind you, is you got that really explosive force crystal from the Dead Witch, and that's when she mentioned Dagmar's Tooth, which was an island full with a mining operation.
Oh, you're talking about the one that I can't do anything with right now.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
The sparkly
She gave me that
crystal.
ring to use if we ever need to contact her but can't find her.
Shay.
Hmm.
How magically in tuned is this city? Like, is there a bunch of mages here, a mages guild, something like that? Is this a pretty magical city, or is it not? Or if it is it common knowledge?
Okay, y'all don't remember, you did Arcana checks at the beginning of last session, and all of the magic came from the Undercity.
So that's all the magical bullshit is?
It came from the Undercity and below the Undercity, but yes.
Shit. Okay. Dungeon crawling.
I mean, we could probably really easily find our way back to the Undercity. We just have to go through that hole that got
I just don't like the Undercity.
We just have to get lost again.
Because, it's a fucking Undercity, which is a cheap way of saying, throw a dungeon in the middle of a city, because why the fuck not?
Okay, well, you don't really have any other options, so if you want magic swiggity bullshit, that's kind of your only choice.
I don't want magic swiggity bullshit.
Can we move on?
Yeah.
Maybe if you ask nicely.
No.
Then no.
Okay, Fargrim, what were you saying?
I wasn't saying anything just yet. I was still grumbling to myself. I was thinking about what I wanted to say.
Well, hurry up.
Well, everybody else can still talk. It's just Fargrim's grumbling to himself.
We're waiting on you!
It was part of a conversation.
The grumbling is part of the conversation. That's what's going on with Fargrim right now.
I think the grumbling is a cue to move on with the conversation. And he'll pipe back in later.
Alright.
He's being angsty dwarf right now.
Angsty dwarf boy.
Don't you mean gun? Copyright?
Try gun. So instead,
our listeners need to know about all of the names gifted to us by our god/mother.
Well, I will bring that up at the end of the fucking video.
Fine.
Wait, so when Fargrim's normal, is he a Magnum, and when he's angsty, he's more of a Glock?
Well,
when he's drunk, he's one of those modified guns with
and not even like the normal Glock, with that super extra Glock that's automatic with the fucking double drum mag, because you buy that for a pistol, obviously.
Have I ever mentioned that I love you?
And then he never stops talking about the fact that he's automatic.
So don't forget, you gotta attach that stupidly oversized bayonet at the end of that, just because you gotta cut. You're gonna be angsty, you gotta cut.
No, not even that. It's just a straight fucking 1800 style bayonet, fucking 4 feet long.
Like you're coming like you want to have style, but you want to represent your love of history and the Civil War. So
oh my
God! He's got a fucking extended mag on it too. So instead of 12 bullets, he's got 70.
But not even that. The bayonet's also pitch black, just like his soul.
God damn it! Can we move on, please?
I thought we were.
And when he's being basic, we can just call him a 9mm.
Guys, does he have a laser sight? That's a very important question. This.
Fucking hate you people.
He does, but it doesn't work.
You're all welcome.
Sides.
I think I've killed Lizard Boy.
I repeat, have I ever mentioned that I love you?
Multiple times.
Okay, cool.
Especially when you're drunk.
Yeah.
Fight me.
Oh, have y'all heard? Oh, sorry. Not time. Moving on.
Okay, are y'all staying in for the night or no?
Fuck no.
Because I can skip to the next day. What are you doing?
I'm gonna go.
Hell no.
I'm gonna go drink at a tavern. Have some
Same.
fun. Shit. Go steal some more shit or something. 32 gold? Those are bitch numbers. I gotta pump them numbers up.
So, it is nighttime, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, well, Fargrim, unless anybody else has any further arguments, does anybody have any further arguments? Trying to convince him to go along with this?
No, we're just letting you know that it's up to you.
Okay.
Oh shit! Did we get Fargrim's cut of the gold up front as well?
Did you miss that conversation?
Yes, he did. He was in the.
I had to go to the bathroom, and I told Sean, "Hey, fill me in on anything important," and then he fucking didn't.
It wasn't that important, but I'll fill him in later.
Okay. Anywho, no one has nothing else to add.
Okay. Well, then Fargrim's just kind of glare at everybody, really angrily, and kind of in a huff, just kind of storm out.
What should we have done? Dragged him through the city with us until he woke up?
I would have went out to go after to stop him, but I'm afraid he'd just shoot me.
I'll go, and I'm gonna follow Fogrim out.
Well, I'm sorry. Sean was catching me up on something. Where'd Fargrim go?
He stormed out.
He stormed out.
Mhm.
Oh, lovely.
I'm following him.
I'll go for it. This should be interesting. Also gets me out of the fucking house.
Don't you mean #Hoarders Paradise?
Been spending most of life
Living in a horse.
This episode of Hoarders.
Okay.
Morin's gonna look at Holly and ask, "Would you like to go for a drink?"
People get rowdy at night, and I'd rather not die prematurely, so I stay.
Understandable. Morin's gonna go out for a drink.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wolfric, what are you doing?
Daydreaming.
Obviously.
Trying to think about more ways you can fuck dead people properly.
By the way, Fargrim never took that gold from you.
Going to go spend Fargrim's gold on drinks. No, I'm kidding.
Rude.
I mean, Fargrim would approve.
Just start singing shots. Everybody!
Shot, and a gun goes off. Boom. It's like,
Oh, there goes the other eye.
Oh, Fargrim, I'm sorry.
I'm going to stay with Holly, so that way she made a valid point. People are rowdy at night, and that way she has at least someone to try to stop shit.
Good.
Holly's just chilling on like a lounge chair.
Also, could attempt to apologize for the I can take off the horns comment now that I've realized that they are in fact a part of her.
It took you this long?
He's not the best in social situations if you can't tell.
That, and up until this point, I have never encountered a tiefling, so this was a eye-opening experience.
Same.
Literally eye-opening.
Now he has 3. 3 tieflings. Oh no! Is Skype crashing? Baby, come back. It fucking crashed. Ah, oh, god damn it. I'm being betrayed by technology. Sorry, guys.
We were in Brutus's tavern, and we basically challenged each other to a drinking competition where you have to, have your drinks, and then I believe our exact wording was to destroy the mugs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you talking about that piece of shit move that Michael pulled?
Yeah. So I, threw a dagger and it pierced the mug and everything. And then Falgrim pulled out his fucking gun. and shot it.
And obliterated the mug.
I'll do you one better, shoots Mug, Ren's reality.
And Torrance like, dude, what the fuck? And he was like, you never said I couldn't shoot it. And she's like, you know what, you're right. And then we became friends.
Good times.
Morin
The
wasn't there
best.
for that. Granted, his.
Anywho,
Yep.
everybody, roll me perception. Everybody who left the house.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh! I dropped it.
That's going to be a not natural 20 for me.
That's gonna be a
19.
10 from me.
And Torrent?
18 for Morin.
19.
Did Morton go the same way as the other three or not?
Well, let's see. There's 2 ways down an alley.
Yeah. Evens or odds?
You know, I just rolled for that in evens.
Okay. You did not go the same way as them.
Chill.
Sweetity sweet. All right. As you guys are attempting to catch up with Fargo. oh, dying.
I only heard 2 people that were trying to catch up with me.
Yeah, it was Salze and Torrent. I will
Right.
circle back to what Morton's doing in a second. Okay, so as you two are attempting to catch up with Fargo, he's walking a lot faster than I'm gonna make a short joke. You think his little legs would move?
Oh.
With his speed of 25.
All you hear really fast is just really quickly.
That's so bad. And as you guys are kind of following him, are you guys saying anything?
I'm not. I'm just following the Nazi.
I'm gonna... No, not yet, no.
Okay, I'm gonna assume Fargrim. What you looking for?
So first, do I notice that they're following me?
Yes, obviously.
I mean, I was just wondering if they were that close or they were kind of hanging back a little bit.
They followed you out the door. You didn't leave that far ahead of them.
Okay. Alright, in that case, if they're following right behind me, I'm gonna get kind of frustrated and turn around and just kind of yell, let's see, I did not know why you're following me, but I don't want to be around you right now.
Well, I was going to ask if you wanted to have a new drinking competition, but
This is
you
not
really want to be
the time
alone.
for alcohol, Torrent. We are here for a reason. Why are we not doing anything about it?
Because we're here for the convention, and ultimately trying to find anything else in this town that we've never been to before is us running around like chickens with our heads cut off. We don't know where we're going. We don't know exactly what we're looking for. Tomorrow we have a convention. Sasha has a map on it. It'll be much easier to find anything. We're biding our time. We're not choosing to do nothing.
The intervention starts tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
Don't
Why
you
did I
think
just
we
call
should
you sir?
know what it's like? Who is going to be participating? Where they're setting up? What supplies are being brought in? These things should be the talk of the town. We should be going and talking to people, not masquerading and running errands for mob bosses and legless freaks.
Well, we did some investigating earlier in the marketplace, but there was an incident involving the opposite mob family trying to attack Holly. So we decided that for now, our best bet is to lay low, and then tomorrow to go to the invention where we have the map, and there would be more people, so we have greater coverage, less danger.
Shay, what time of day is it right now?
It is evening.
This evening?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to turn to Fargrim and go, you know what, Fargrim, you're right. Talking to people about the convention and whatnot would be a pretty good idea. And considering what time of day it is, where do you think the majority of people are going to be congregating at? Probably a tavern, like Torrent suggested. And while we're there, have a couple drinks, blend into the surrounding, make people feel more comfortable, and then I'm sure we can get some words out of them. Sounds like a pretty good and well thought out plan to me. Thanks, Torrent. You're a real smart cookie.
Thanks, Saze, but Thogrim, if you'd rather be alone and try to go there on your own, far be it for me to stop you. Who needs a friend, right?
Ho!
Ouch!
Boom, bitch!
I'm virtually high-fiving you, Torrent.
Thank you.
Holly's at the
Virtually.
house being like, high five.
Just the mental need. I feel like I must high five Torrent.
So Fargrim's just gonna kind of get like really, really beat red, like super flustered, not quite embarrassed, but like he wants to yell, but he can't come up with an argument. Like he can't come up with a counter argument. Like he's just that like taken aback by the words that Torrent just said. Mind you, he's not even paying attention to Saze.
Thanks, bro.
He doesn't know
Okay, I'm paying
you.
attention to you.
You look flustered, Fargrim. Need a drink?
But anyway, so he's just kind of like he like gets like half a syllable out, like to, like he's trying to make a rebuttal, but he's just stumbling over his own thoughts. And finally, when he's able to at least like put some words together in a semi-meaningful, combination, he's like, "You just don't understand. I just leave me be. I will come back when I'm ready." And he turns away and he just takes off again.
I'm gonna.
Okay, so then I'm gonna turn to Saze and I'm gonna be like, how do you think we find a tavern? We don't... We can still go get drinks and try to get information if that's what we want, or we can just have a little fun.
You're a pirate, and you're asking me how to find a tavern.
Well, I'm asking you how to find a tavern you would like to go to.
One that has alcohol.
If you have a preference. If you have a preference.
One that has alcohol, my friend. One that has alcohol.
Okay, are y'all ready for the results of those perception rolls?
Yes.
Oh, jeez.
I wanted to let that unfold before I let you let it go.
Alright.
Let it go.
Shut your fucking hole.
That's Holly's song.
Fuck it all. Fuck
Don't
it
give
all.
a shit anymore.
Don't give a shit any. Yeah, thank you very much.
God damn it.
Well,
Theme song?
Do you want to build a snow dick? A snow dick.
Shut up.
I'm pretty sure that this just became not appropriate for children.
Oh, this has never been appropriate for
When has
children.
this been appropriate for children?
Never. Anywho.
We say penis at the beginning of every video. When
Yes.
has this been
That
appropriate
could be
for
edited
children?
out, though. I mean,
You really threw
just
out.
start the
Continue
video
to-
like 10
to-
seconds after.
So what you're saying is I need to say penis constantly the entire time we're recording.
Yes.
Something
Shut
like
up.
Go.
Just
You
sneak it
playing the
in.
penis game
that.
now?
Sneak it in. Yeah, apparently. Just a tip, though.
Just be really, really quiet. Wait till like we're in the middle of a really important conversation. Just scream dick at the top of my lungs so it can't be edited out.
No. You whisper it just loud enough that it comes over the top of people. Just loud enough. That's how you do it.
Penis.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm
But you have to do it while
I'm
people are
gonna
talking.
kill all of you. Shut the fuck up.
Please, bitch, I don't want it.
I was gonna say something angsty like Jessica did, but she stole it from me.
All right, what did we perceive or did not perceive? Who actually saw whatever's happening?
Okay. So since Fargrim is wandering off in his little hut, you very quickly notice something over the heads of even the people that are definitely taller than you. A something that is very large and metallic. And it's at least 20 feet in like to the right of you.
Uh-huh.
There's a large crowd of people, but it's standing somewhat tall, metallic, and it's shaped like a person.
So it's a golem.
Maybe.
Okay. But if there's a bunch of people there, I'm going to go investigate.
It's more like there's a bunch of people walking around. It's a crowded area. As you're walking through there, it's very evident as to what it's doing. It is attempting. It has no arms, and it is attempting. It keeps leaning down and hitting a box like it's trying to pick it up, but not doing very well.
Does it look like it ever had arms?
Yes.
Does it look like it's being controlled by anybody in the vicinity?
No.
Okay. Well, I'll walk up to it and investigate.
As you get closer, it looks almost as if like it is a compressed, very sealed, like a nondescript suit of armor, and it's it's definitely, like I said, it's missing its arms, and it is looks quite incomplete, but it is still trying to pick up the box in front of it.
Okay. So I'll just kind of look around and see if it may have just, dropped its arms on the ground somewhere.
It just got disarmed.
It maybe it just fell off. Yeah.
Roll me perception.
Okay. That'll be a 22.
As you're looking around, you can see that there is a cart, maybe about 5 feet further away, and there is an arm sticking out from the curtain that's covering the back of this cart, as well as a tiny pair of legs.
How tiny are we talking?
Not that you can recognize at this moment, but they are definitely, in comparison to the arm, smaller.
I mean, are we talking medium-sized creature, small-sized creature? Are we talking like fairy legs? What are we talking here?
It's a person.
Fargrim-sized legs.
Human-sized legs. Goliath-sized legs.
Not human.
You're really narrowing it down for me.
Well, you rolled a shitty perception, so go figure it out.
I rolled a 22! That's an amazing perception check!
No, I'm kidding. No, they are gnome-sized legs.
Gnome-sized legs. Okay. Alright.
I was just fucking
He
with you.
found someone smaller than him.
Alright, well, I don't care about those legs then, but I'll definitely take a look at the arm. Is there anybody by this wagon?
The pair of legs. As you get closer, you realize that these are not fake, like the arm that's hanging out of the back of the cart, but there is a person in this cart moving, and you can hear stuff that sounds like it's falling over, or that like it's being searched through.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get closer, these legs definitely belong to a person.
Okay. I will knock on the wagon.
As you knock on the wagon, just you hear "up," and then something falls over in the back, and you hear ouch, 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 and the gnome kind of pulls herself out of the cart and looks at you, and she's got these wide goggles across her in front of her face that make her eyes look huge, and she just like pulls them up and looks at you, and she goes, "What was that for?"
Did Fargrim just find that one chick from Star Wars?
God damn it, Sean!
Drop dead.
I thought I was supposed to have the portal to plagiarism.
Uh,
I did not mean to scare you. I was just trying to get your attention. Is the golem yours?
And then she looks over and she sees it and she goes, "Oh, Wesley!" And she hops off the cart and goes walking over, picks up the box, and the suit of armor just kind of follows her back to the cart, just kind of leaning over her. And she was just like, "Thanks for that. Wesley here's a bit broken."
I could not help but notice. It seems to be missing some fingers. Wow, no laughs for that. I'm very disappointed.
I was
Yeah.
muted. Fuck off.
My jokes are just dead crowd. Silence.
It's just easier to mute when other people are talking.
Yeah.
If it makes you feel any better, I was looking at Tumblr and I didn't hear what you said.
No!
Oh, so she wasn't paying attention to you.
If it makes you
know,
feel
that's
better, I could
horrible.
give 2 shits about what you said.
And sorry. I'm dying,
Lie
guys.
to us.
Ugh, dying.
Please don't. I want to fuck the dead witch one more time.
Grounded.
But Mom!
Wolfric, you get a gold star!
Yay.
Okay. And she sets the box on the edge of the cart, and she goes, "Yeah, it'd be a lot easier if he'd stop losing his arms."
I can understand that.
And then
The name's Fargrim. It's nice to meet you.
she was like, "Gwendolyn," but most people call me Gwen.
Oh, Gwendolyn. I found myself in the capital. I come quite a bit away. Been looking for fellow artisans such as myself. But, you see, I wasn't invited as a guest. I've just come to check out everybody else, to make some connections, meet some interesting folk. I see by your mechanisms, you seem to be one and the same.
And she smiles, and she just kind of adjusts her hair under her goggles, and she goes, "Well," and she was just like, "One and the same, sort of. I'm here as a guest."
Exactly, but you seem to be an artisan after my own heart. You'd have quite the intricate pieces working together on that piece.
And she goes, "Oh, what, Wesley?" And cause she was already still going through the cart, she picks up his hand and kind of smacks him with it, and he just kind of wobbles. And then she was just like, "He's an old piece, but I can't." And he's just like, "But I can't bring myself to throw him away."
I wasn't referring to Wesley, though. He is a piece of art within itself. I was speaking more to the your headpiece, the goggles, your magnifying glasses.
Oh my god. Fargrim isn't being embarrassed and awkwardly talking to a woman.
And she was like, "Oh,
If that's the case, Fargrim is definitely a Glock 47 right now.
Shut the fuck up." And Gwen just pulls the glasses off of her head, and she was like, "Oh, these," and she was like, "I made them in my free time."
I'm sorry, was my accent just contagious there for a moment? Did y'all hear that?
She does have a slight accent, and I'm dying, guys. I will be able to keep an accent once I'm not, like, filled with mucus and death.
I don't believe you, but okay.
I can suggest medications for that.
Anywho, continue.
She said that she made it in her spare time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you see, I like to do a little bit of tinkering myself when I have the time. So Fargrim's going to kind of unsling Karach and kind of show it off a little bit. This is my child Karach.
And she pulls the goggles back over her eyes, and she's just she like zooms in on it, and she goes, ooh. She's just like this isn't one of those baby pistols those pirates use. She's just like this.
I feel attacked.
You sensed it.
Just a disturbance in the force. Someone's talking shit.
Exactly.
That's exactly how the force works, right, guys?
No, she just
Exactly
starts
how it
sneezing profusely, and because she's with Saze, Saze looks at her and goes, "Someone talking about you?"
Get your weeaboo shit out of here.
Is that all she's saying?
Yeah, no, she's admiring it, and then she's just she pulls her goggles back again. She's just like how did you manage to put together something like that?
It's quite a story. You see, once upon a time, used to live in the hills with my clan. I was not so talented with the swords and such, but used to pick up quite a few skills when it came to chemical compositions and, well, plumbing, believe it or not. And I got myself a little idea. You see, we used a lot of explosives when we were mining some of the tougher bits of stone and metal. And well, when the explosives go through a pipe, it tends to focus them. So I got myself an idea from that little accidental adventure that I had. And decided to do it on purpose. After a few years, I found that if you put something inside, it tends to go pretty fast. And it messes up whatever's on the other end. And it just went from there.
And she's absolutely giddy at the whole sight of guns, and she just kind of smiles, and then she taps her cart, and she's just like, oh, if you like that, you should see what I've got in the back. And she pulls the sheet away from the back of the cart. You can see that whereas Wesley was a nondescript model, there are several very ornate looking suits of armor in the back of the cart.
All right. Well, Fargrim's going to go ahead and take his time and actually like really look at these.
They're also at the back of the cart where she was initially sorting. You can see what she was actually sorting into. There's like boxes of like mixed components and springs and all just sort of junk. And there's even one box that's just filled with a bunch of crystals and rocks and such.
Okay. Let's look at the crystals and rocks and such.
Some of these look quite similar to the same crystal that you got from Oriana, though they don't look quite as clear, which you could tell they're not as nearly as potent. Some of these are weird materials that you've never seen before.
Interesting. All right. So I'll kind of like I'll make a little bit of a show of it, kind of looking and appraising the rocks, and I'll turn back. Say, Gwendolyn, you have yourself quite a collection here.
And she just shrugs, and she's like, can't be helped. She's like, if I made the rest of these out of the same thing I made Wesley out of, they'd all fall over.
Well, I think I might have something that you might want to add to your collection. And you'll pull out the crystal the dead witch gave him.
Yeah, you remember correctly that she put that in a small box for you. And as you kind of show that to her, her eyes go wide. And she's like, how'd you get that?
I got it as something of a reward. Kind of a gift. There's this witch that lives in the swamp. Very good at giving the last rites of the dead. She said that she didn't need it, so she gave it to me.
So, and she just kind of stops for a moment. She goes, the dead witch? had a crystal from Dagmar's tooth, and she just handed it to you?
She did indeed.
And then she's just like, well, count me impressed.
Since you seem to be familiar with these crystals, I was wondering, perhaps we could put it to some good use.
And she just gets so excited. She's just like, did you know for the convention tomorrow I rented a whole display space? She's just like, I got enough room that I could set off a mine and not a person would take a hit. And she starts pulling boxes out from behind some of the armors as she climbs into the back, and she's like, what you want to bet? She's like, we find a way to put that crystal at a good use and see how the golems here take it. And she smacks one of their armors.
And if it's powerful enough to power one of your suits of armor, I wonder what would happen if we focused it, placed it in perhaps something smaller.
And she looks at you and she goes, if you think we're going to put it in one of those guns of yours, you're crazy. But I love it. And she's just knocking things over as she's going to the back. She's pulling out she comes out carrying another box. She just drops it, and it's just filled with a bunch of scrap metal and just like looks like it's stuff that's like leftovers. And she's just like, I'm sure we'll find something of use.
I think I'll have quite a bit of free time on my hands. This is definitely something that we can do. And perhaps when we're done, we could showcase it and get quite a bit of attention.
And she pulls the goggles back over her eyes and she's just like, well, Fargrim, I think you've got yourself a deal.
All right.
And so you're gonna roll me several different checks. Let me jump over to what Morin's doing. Morin, you are, as you have turned the opposite direction, and after a bit of wandering around, you spy what is very obviously the two-pronged tail of your favorite pure white tiefling as he wanders down an alleyway.
I'm gonna catch up with him.
You gonna call out to him? You just gonna run after him? What?
Yeah, I'll just run after him.
Okay. And as you do so, he kind of hears footsteps behind him, and he turns and he looks and he goes, "Oh, Morin." It's just like, did my idea for the evening catch your interest?
Idea?
He's like,
because I wasn't there whenever he went. I don't think.
You were actually.
Oh, was I? I was distracted.
He said he was going to a brothel, but he said it like with like a huge ass smile.
A brothel? What is that?
He's like, you don't know what a brothel is. He's just like, this should be fun. And he stops in front of a door that seems like it's in a weird little fork, where it just splits off into three different directions. There's small steps leading up to it. And he just knocks on the door, and the door opens, and he goes, after you.
Why do I feel like Warren's about to get his cherry popped?
But to say, this like 16-year-old fucking little dragonborn kid is about to see some fucking
18.
shit.
He's about to fire breathe, but ain't gonna be with his mouth.
Morin is 18.
Oh god, beer does not feel good going up the other nose.
Smooth. Morin, I'm gonna roll a perception check to see if I see inside the door. Yeah, that's a 5.
Everything you see looks fancy and nice, and you hear a lot of laughter and it sounds like people being happy coming from the other side of the door. So you don't know any better, and you're just like, okay.
What do I smell?
um, Perfume, alcohol, nothing too crazy.
Okay. Alright. Sure.
It's like a strip club, Sean. Use your imagination.
Everything smells like strawberry body glitter.
Okay.
I'm kidding. Anywho,
Morin follows along with Valco for now.
as Valco steps in, there's a very tall, very pretty woman. She looks like she is older, but that does not make her any less pretty. She's wearing dark makeup, and she turns, sees you, and has this picture perfect smile. And she's Valco, and her expression, you notice, changes for about a moment, and she goes, "Oh," and she's just like, "It looks like we have a special guest today." And she sets down the book, and she's just like, "You never bring friends, Valco." And he just steps up and goes, and he's just like, "Well, special occasion." And she goes, "What might that be?" And he's like, "I got to see your pretty face today." And as he's talking to her, you hear a bunch of excited squealing as a bunch of other girls come running in, and they're like, "Oh," they're like, "Valco," they're like, "You came to visit us." And then they look and they're like, "Oh, you brought a guest." They're like, "Look at him." And there's a bunch of several different races of women here. They're all dressed really nicely in pretty dresses and jewelry. And they are some of them, like two of them, just grab Morin's arm and they're like, "Come in, come in." They're like, we'll get you something to drink."
Morin just looks at Valco with a pleading, what in the ancestor's name have you pulled me into?
And he just kind of laughs loudly. He goes, and he's like, "Sorry, ladies, but me and Morin are here on separate business." And then he looks back at the woman he was speaking to, and he goes, "Is Cecia in today?" And then she goes, "Oh, Cecia," and puts down the book, and she's like, "Yes, she is." And then he's just like, "Sorry, ladies, we'll have to do drinks later. Morin, come on." And he's motioning as he's following the woman back.
Morin puts on his dragonborn strength and extracts his arms from the gaggle of females.
And so as you follow them back, you want to roll me a perception check?
You're muted, dickhead.
Do I want to? No, probably not, because I'm gonna fail at it, but sure. Hey, 14.
Not bad. So you can hear some of what Valco and this woman are saying. And he's talking, and she's just like, "You are very gutsy for coming here at this time." And he's just like, "Well," and he's just like, "Well, what other time would I come here?" And she's just like, "I don't know what you're expecting her to tell you." And basically, they're just kind of bickering back and forth about this person that he has come here to see.
How tall are the hallways?
They are quite tall.
Okay, cool.
Because,
so I'm not having to duck. Yay.
Yeah, they have very arched hallways. This is a very nice establishment. A lot of the people that you've seen here are mixed from very what might be average wealth to more than average wealth. And as she guides you two down the hallway, she goes up this staircase, and there's only one door. And she knocks on the door a couple of times, and she goes, "Cecia, darling, Valco is here to see you with a friend." And you kind of hear a scramble on the other side, and she's like, "Coming, coming." And when she opens the door, you see a golden-haired elf. She's got very bronze skin, and even her eyelashes are gold, but her eyes are they're like clear. They're almost like crystal. They're like diamonds. And she opens the door, and she's just like, I wasn't expecting guests tonight. And then she's like, please come in, come in.
Morin will step in the door and take in the room, I guess. Perception?
Yes. Roll me your base perception, but there's something else. Go ahead.
I got a 13 plus my plus would be 14.
Okay. As you're walking around the room, this is a very nice room. There's a canopy bed. It looks like there's fine jewelry. There's a tea set. It looks like she might have been in the middle of eating. But from the smell of the food, it looks like she hasn't touched the food in maybe an hour or so. There's lots of jewelry and little knickknacks everywhere. It looks like she was she either has a lot of money, or she was given a lot of things. She herself is wearing a very nice flowy gown, but it doesn't look like she was. She's not as painted or made up as the women you saw downstairs. It looks like she was just trying to relax for the evening.
Okay.
And then as Valko walks in, the woman who was guiding you goes to the door and goes. And she goes, she nods, and then she's just like, let me know if you need anything. And she just leaves the room. And you notice that the Cecia, the elven woman who is now trying to rush to clean up, she's just like, I didn't know I was having guests today. Oh, goodness. And she's just like, no. And she's clearing everything off, and then she just pulls over some chairs, and she sits down. She pulls some chairs close by the bed, and she sits down on the bed, and she's like, what can I do for you? And Valko just takes one of the seats, and then he's just kind of motioning for you to sit down. And then he's just like, well, Cecia, he was just like, what do I always come to you for? And then she's just like, not for the things that I want.
Morin's just gonna bask in the tension that's brewing between the two and just like have eyes darting back and forth. Not darting, but like sliding very quickly.
I think it's safe to say that Valko's a lot more popular with these ladies than he is with us.
And he kind of just at first when he had sat down he looked relaxed. Now he kind of leans over and feet firmly on the ground now, and looks at her and is just like, Cecia, I need you to do me a favor. That favor. And you can see in her face that she is not happy. And she turns her head away, like kind of turning her nose up at him, and goes, what if I don't want to?
So from what Morin's gathering, a brothel is where you go and ask things of people that they don't like.
I mean,
continue with the conversation.
You're not wrong.
You wouldn't
Seriously?
be wrong.
Yeah.
Frank, the dead one's full again.
Go on.
And he's like, come now. You know that I wouldn't ask if I didn't think it was necessary. And then she just kind of slightly looks at him, and she's just like, why is you want it this time? And he's just like, because a friend of mine is quite possibly in trouble. And she just looks at him, and this time she actually turns to him, and she's just like, you don't have friends.
Morin's gonna chuckle, and I assume they both dart to look at me.
Yeah.
And then try and quickly regain composure.
And she now has her attention fully on you, and she smiles and she stands up, and she was just like, now, you brought this one. She was just like, I would like to know about him. And she was like, what's your name, sweetie?
Morin's gonna stand up, take a deep Asian bow, of course, and recite very practiced Morras of the Morin clan.
And then she was just like, oh. She was like, she was just like, I must assume though, by your tone, you're not from around here. And she was just like, how did you end up with Valco here? And she's like, are you one of the new recruits for the Silver Pinnacle?
At that, he straightens up and Morin belly laughs. No, milady. Nothing that's organized. As for how I came to meet our pale friend, it was through my travels, coming to this place.
And she smiles. She's like, that's too bad. If you were a member of the Silver Pinnacle, I might say yes to what Valco wants. And she was just like, you at least had manners. And Valco just kind of looks over, and he gives you a look, and you could just see it in his eyes that says, help.
Well, Morin gives a big, toothy grin and says, well, seeing as how I am, mutters, how do you say in Draconic, foreign to these lands, any information about the city would be much appreciated. However, I do not believe that is what Valco is looking for.
And then she stops and she looks back, and Valco just kind of stands up and just kind of slides next to you, and he goes, you know what? I have an idea. Morin, do you trust me?
Huff sparks as I slowly turn my head to look at him through one eye. No.
And he's just like, that's fair.
I think Torrent's the only one that trusts him.
Well, to be fair, last time he was asked, does he trust somebody?
You got turned into a fucking giant.
Yeah.
True.
So I think he's just gonna stop answering that question. And then Valco's like, that's fair. And he looks over and he's just like, Thesia, my dear. He's just like, if you do the thing that I would, that I would graciously like you to do, I will pay for you for the next 3 days, which gives you the freedom to go around the Adventures Convention with nothing to do. So it was like, you don't have to do anything for anyone.
At the mention of pay, Morin raises an eyebrow, looks at her, looks around the room one more time, looks at Valco, and then asks, pay for her?
And then, at the mention of that, Cece just kind of chuckles and she goes, oh, what a sweet boy. And then she's just like, yes, pay, silly. And she just taps your snout. And she goes, fine, I will agree on one condition. And then, she points to you, Morin, and she goes, would you like to accompany me tomorrow to walk around the convention?
What's with fucking Morin and goddamn, girls who think they're princesses?
At the tap of the snout, Morin will shake his head and huff sparks, and then will think about taking her. Look at Valco and just straight up ask, "What have you gotten me into?"
And he just kind of smiles and he goes, "Oh, it's nothing so bad. It's just like Cecia here," and he points to her. He's just like, "is one of the most sought after ladies in the city." It's just like, unfortunately, because of that, she is not allowed to walk around the city on her own for her safety. But with the mention of new artisans and such, she is been bit by the curiosity bug.
Morin finally nods, understanding. Ah, I see, I see. He turns to her and bows deeply and said, "It would be my honor to guard such a sought-after, um, oh, what's the word I'm looking for?
You say princess, and we'll go in there and go in the living room and deck you.
That's not what I was going for. Actually,
You wouldn't need to, Lee. I'd stab him before you got there.
Insult and injury.
Actually, yeah, let's go with the first one. Morin will bow deeply and said, "It would be my honor to escort an Ojo around."
And she just smiles and she's just like, "Well, it's like it's nice to know that I'll have a suitable guard." And she's just like, and she turns to Valko, and her expression changed really quickly from this sweet smile she gave you to a very sharp, almost fake smile as she looks at him, and she's just like, "Oh, I'm going to make you pay for this entirely." And he's just like, "I do not doubt that." And then she's just like, come, follow me, please." And as she pulls a tapestry from the wall, you notice that there is a whole separate room.
Okay.
And as she goes into the room, you notice that there is a small table, and then on the table, there looks to be this table is so ornate. It looks like there's just blocks and edges and this like ornate pattern carved into the table. It takes you a moment to realize that it looks like the city.
Okay. Morin's going to look at the table and kind of just like in wonder of how artistic it is. And like how much detail and everything.
Roll me perception.
I already did. 11.
Alright, not bad, I'll give it to you. This is a really well-made table. It looks like somebody took their time. You could even recognize the part of the city that you were already in.
Okay.
And,
are there any distinguishable markings?
There are quite a few. This table has several scratches and cuts. There's even a part of the table that looks like somebody tried to put a blade through it. And she sits down on a very soft chair that's got a bunch of pillows in it, and she just kind of taps the table, and the surface of the table changes.
No!
To a separate map, to
No!
a separate map that you get the feeling that you have seen before. You don't quite know what it is.
So, Morin had a hand on the table. He immediately snatches his hand away and takes a quick step back and almost
I will
goes
tell
into
you
fighting stance.
right away, despite your instincts, that the table is not magic.
It looks magic. That's all that matters.
But no,
That's all
after
matters.
that initial freak out, I will tell you right away, you did notice that it's not magic.
I would assume that's like through my spirit sense.
Yeah.
But like, okay, cool. Morin will I guess, like, squint his eyes and try and look closer, but really not understanding anything. Mutter under his breath, this looks like a Fargrim contraption. That's what I'm gonna call it.
And she very much just is like smoothing her hands over the table, and she's just like, oh, she's like, I don't know what that means, but thank you. And as she's moving her hands over the table, you kind of notice that there are little nicks and little itty bitty scars around the tips of her fingertips. They look like they've long past healed, and they look like they've been smoothed over, like she's definitely moisturized, but they're still faint, but they're still there. And she looks over the wood, and you kind of notice that her eyes themselves, they look less bright than when you had first saw them. They look slightly clouded over as she runs her hands along the creases of the table, and then she stops and she points and she goes, there, it's right there. But she hasn't taken her eyes off of the table. And Valko is studying that map and goes, oh, no. He's just like, why there?
Morn's gonna look at the table, look at Valko, look at her, look at the table, look at Valko. What?
Then he looks over and he's just like, I have to go back into the Undercity. And she's just like, it's not my fault. And then she stops, and you notice that her body visibly tenses up, and her fingers on the table, you can hear like a slight tapping because her hand is shaking. And she's just like, no, it's not there alone. Oh no. And she lurches back from the table, and her eyes go that crystal clear color again. She's just like, you may want to hurry, Valko. It's not going to be there for much longer.
Oh, great. Adventures with Valko. Awesome.
And then he's just like, well, and he stops crouching on the table. He stops crouching in front of the table and goes, well, that's all I needed to know.
Morin is going to ask the obvious question, because, perception. Yeah. What is it that we're looking for?
And then he's just like, I told you, the Silver Pinnacle deals in things that are lost.
Yes. As descriptive as the face of a mountain. Could you be more specific?
And then he's just like, well, I have been tasked with recovering something in the city that should not be in the city. How should I put this?
Let's stop playing the pronoun game.
Are you saying that out loud or what?
Yes. Morin is saying that out loud.
Then he's just like, oh, okay. So, and he just kind of runs his hand over his face. He goes, it is, you remember that there were two specific people that you met in the tomb that I didn't have a chance to run into.
Owl and Hawk.
Or Falcon. Falcon was the other guy.
Falcon.
And then, you can kind of see that, Cece is running her hands along the knees of her dress, and she looks very nervous. And he's just like, yes, there was something that they were looking for, which would have given them dominion over the dead, which would have been surprising if that it hadn't been stolen from Hoskoth years ago. It's like, but the thing that is under the city that should not be under the city, as you can probably gather, is an amulet that will pull the entire sand sea into Hoskoth.
A sea of sand?
And then he's just like, I forgot how new you are. Yeah, the bordering country is known as, it was just like the bordering country of Hoskoth is filled with something called the Sand Sea. It is, and he is just like, I wouldn't call it sentient, but it moves just as much as an ocean, and it will drown you just as quick. And then he's just like, the Eston is precariously perched between the Sand Sea, which is why it has a port for both. It's just like between the Sand Sea and the rest of Hoskoth. If the amulet falls into somebody's hands, then the entirety of the Sand Sea is going to bury the city.
Morin's going to pinch the flesh between his eyes, take a deep breath, and mutter in Draconic magic. Why is it always magic?
And you hear, oh, it's not always magic, as like Cecia just stands up and she's just like, the person who is there certainly is not. And then she just kind of walks over and she's just like, I think I need some air. And she just walks back into the main room and just heads for her balcony. She's just like, Valka, you can see yourself out, correct?
Did we lose her?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm going to, I guess grab, well, not grab, I'm going to place an arm around Valka's shoulders and follow her into the main area, and at the edge of her balcony, take a bow and say, Madam, thank you for the information. I will see you tomorrow as dawn strikes.
And she smiles and she does a little curtsy and she's like, thank you, I can't wait.
And drag Valko out of the room.
And he's like, I'm going. And
out of the
brothel.
The complicated place. Wouldn't go for it.
Go ahead.
When we're outside, Morin's claws come out, and well, let's just say ensures that Valko doesn't slip away like he normally does. Not damaging, but definitely uncomfortable.
Okay.
And he's going to ask Valko with the biggest smile, so how much are you paying? No. So, why exactly am I doing this? And what precisely are we expecting to encounter in the Undercity?
And then he just kind of smiles and he's just like, my friend, are you going to the Undercity with me?
Well, someone has to pull your scrawny hide out of the boiling pot.
Then he's just like, well, the Undercity is an Undercity. Ugh. And he just kind of makes a disgusted look. He's just like, they're just like your typical crime, burglars, all the fun stuff you don't want to see in a city.
Valko? Short sentences. Mountain boy, remember?
And he's just like, all the fun stuff you don't want to see in a big city would likely be there. So we'll probably almost get mugged. And, according to what Cecia said, probably one of our avian friends will be there.
Morin releases him and cracks his neck. Alright. Loosens mace. lead the way.
And then he's just like, all right. And he starts walking, and then stops, turns back around, and goes, that way, that way, that way.
It's going to be a long night.
Okay, and so back to Saze and Torrent, who were getting drinks.
Yes.
Yeah.
You never told us the results of our perception checks.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing now.
Okay.
As you guys are walking around looking for a place to drink, you can see one tavern, which is very well built, and there is a crowd that is almost out the door.
That was promising.
And it's less that it's filled to capacity. It's more like somebody made a line.
So I think we know where we're going.
Good to me. Lead the way.
And as you guys are going, are you just gonna walk right in and find out what the fuck's going on, or what? What are you doing?
Yep, walk right in and find out what the fuck's going on.
I was gonna say maybe have a couple of drinks first, but yeah, sure, we'll see what all the commotion is.
I mean, I don't want to like wait in the line if I don't know what I'm waiting for, and I assume that once we walk in, we're just kind of gonna see what's going on, anyways.
Assuming we can't charm our way into the tavern without the line.
And as you guys walk in, you hear a bunch of talking. There's a lot of drinking. There are other people who are sitting there drinking who seem slightly annoyed, but half of them are just just checking a few things. Half of them are just enjoying the fact that they're drunk. And the line comes to a bit of a bulk in front of the bar counter. You see one bartender who is a half elf whose hair's kind of scruffily cut, but he's passing out drinks left and right, and he's just talking to people, and he seems very friendly. Even though like he looks tired, he's still got a smile plastered on his face. And then at the other end of the bar, which is where the majority of the crowd is kind of squished up against, you see a very tall, brawny man who looks up and immediately makes eye contact with Torrent, and for the first time in about a week, you run into Brutus.
Brutus!
I do not know this man.
No, you don't. So I'm gonna turn to Saze and I'm gonna be like, you remember that tavern we were in and the owner was gone?
Yes.
And I'm gonna turn and I'm gonna point at him and I'm gonna be like, that is him.
Oh, he's the dumbass who doesn't have his drinks, doesn't charge people for his drinks.
And as he sees you guys walking in, there's a man at the counter who's talking and just talking and talking, and he's just like, "Are you listening?" He's just like, "Where's my drink?" And then suddenly, Brutus's hand is on the man's face, and he pushes him out of the seat.
I take the dumbass comment away. I automatically love this man.
Right? Alright, so I'm gonna walk over, and I'm assuming that the guy's still on the ground.
Yeah, he looks up, takes one look at Brutus, and you just see the glaring side glance he gives him, and the man slowly crawls back out of the way.
I'm gonna follow him a little bit and pull out one of my daggers and just kind of crouch down in front of him and be like, you want to glare at him just a little more?
And he's just like, no. And he just scrambles out of the tavern.
I'm gonna chuckle and say that Torrent. You know, Torrent, I do believe in order to drunken brawl, you have to be drunk.
What's the point of? I mean, you have to, get in a brawl first, drink to celebrate, and then get in more brawls afterwards.
But brawls just aren't fun if you're not drunk, though.
And as you kind of turn, there's two filled mugs sitting on the counter that Brutus just sets down right next to you.
I'm gonna hop up on the stool that he pushed the guy out of.
I'm okay with this. I'm gonna sit next to Torrent and grab one of the mugs.
Yeah, there wasn't a free seat until the second Torrent sat down and you stepped closer. He looked at the man sitting next to Torrent, and he just shrugs, climbs off the stool, and walks away.
Goddamn right.
Drink in hand.
Goddamn right.
I'm gonna turn to Brutus and just like beam at him, and I'm gonna be like, "It's so good to see you again."
And he nods and pats you on the head.
And I'm gonna gesture to Saze, and I'm gonna be like, "This is a friend that we picked up along the way. I don't believe you've had the chance to meet."
And he leans in, looks at you, and he's about a half a foot away from your face, and then nods, turns around, and pulls out a separate drink with a glass. It is a very pretty decorative glass, and in it there is a very clear liquid that you can see, and he sets it in front of you.
In front of me or in front of Tor?
You.
Oh. Well, thank you, I think. I'm gonna grab the glass, smell it.
It's a very familiar smell.
Yeah, fuck it, down the hatch.
And the first thing that you notice is this is a very common drink in your homeland, except this is better than any alcohol that you've had at home.
I love Brutus so much.
It's delicious.
And then the half elf who was manning the other side of the bar just kind of slides over, and he's just like, "Oh, you're friends with Brutus." And then he's just like, he just kind of taps Brutus's shoulder playfully, but he's too big, so he doesn't budge.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's just like, this man. He was just like with that convention. They invited all sorts of artisans. It was just like, he didn't think they would invite him. It was just like, but look at the line he's got. It was just like, we're not even serving most of his drinks till tomorrow.
There is not a single artisan in the alcohol world that can top Brutus.
And this man can make one hell of a drink.
Bars, taverns.
It's just like that, and he's just like, that's what I told him. And then he's just like, he's been given a few little sneak drinks of his own alcohol out tonight, and I think that's kind of what dropping a sword on your foot. Now we got a bunch of people here that are just dying for a taste. And it was like, but he's been very picky. I'm surprised. And he's just like, he obviously likes you if he's giving you the good stuff.
We've spent a little bit of time together. And I'm gonna pick up the mug in front of me and start drinking.
Well, I don't think I've actually introduced myself to Brutus, so I'm gonna stick my hand out and say, it's a pleasure to meet you, Brutus. I've heard a lot about you. My name's Saze.
And he just reaches over across the bar, shakes your hand. When he doesn't say anything, he just nods at you.
I'm gonna commence drinking my drink now.
Huh?
I'm gonna commence drinking out of the mug now.
Yep. So I'm gonna, finish my mug, put it back on the counter so I can get a Rico. And I'm gonna catch Brutus's attention again. And I'm gonna ask him, so have you heard any gossip in the area about a man called the Dollmaker? Or a woman or something?
And he kind of stops, and he's cleaning one of the glasses. And then he turns around, and he opens a bag that's sitting behind the counter. But it looks like a very nice bag. Probably keeps all of his personal items in. And then he pulls out something that you'd seen familiarly. He pulls out that leather-bound book, the one with the silver star symbol in it, and just starts flipping through the pages. And then he stops for a moment and then turns the book in front of you and pushes it towards you.
Hey, someone look at the book?
There's lots of different descriptions based on the Dollmaker. There's lots of drawn sketches of what look like false limbs, and they're very ornate, and they're nicely drawn. And there's the handwriting is very cursive-y, so it's a little difficult to read. But as far as you can see, there's lots of theories as to who the Dollmaker is, but you were able to pertain one or two clues. Is that one that is a very skilled craftsman, And 2, if you're looking for the doll maker, they'll usually find you.
Sick. I'm gonna smile up at him and I'm gonna be like, you always come through.
Why don't you just happen to have a book on the doll maker? Seems oddly convenient.
Brutus is a man of many connections. He's got information on most anything you could ask for.
Well, I'm not one to look a gift horse in the mouth.
And like he flips, and then he even flips some of the pages to what at first it looks like he flips to where the pages in the book are blank, and then he pulls some of them back, and you see that there are sketches of Torrent and Fargrim and Holly and Moden in the book now.
We're in the book?
Yeah, and even there's like a full page on Wulfric, and that's makes a note of all the stuff that Wulfric had in his bag.
I do not want to find this book.
Oh my god.
Naughty the fuck! How does he know exactly what's in my bag?
Uh,
I know everything that's in my bag.
He pitched your eye, so he.
Yeah, he went through your shit when he saved your life.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say.
Yeah.
How in the hell does he know about me?
We were in his bar.
Yeah, but I mean, like, all I
It's
did was
just-
drink.
Well, yeah, it's stuff he's observed, though. But that's what he does, is he gathers information.
I feel violated.
Fargrim, have you ever worked in a bar?
Has Fargrim ever worked in a bar?
Michael, have you ever?
Oh, have I ever worked in a bar? No, I just get asked to bartend for friends. That's it.
Okay. As someone who has worked behind the counter at a bar, I'm sure Sean can attest to this, and Jess as well. You pick up on a lot of information about people working behind the bar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I get that. Doesn't stop me from feeling very violated right now.
It's Brutus. Come on, we all trust him.
Chris, you should feel.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, like, it's one of those, like, Brutus, why? You could have just asked, man. I would have told you.
You could say,
like I would have told everything to Brutus.
You could say et tu, Brute?
No.
Somebody fucking slit his
Sorry, give me
throat.
1 second here.
Don't worry, I just threw a lighter at him.
Nobody jokes about Brutus.
Light him on fire.
It was great though.
Still over the camera.
Leland's trying to beat him with a wrench.
Wrench in his fucking plan.
Okay. So yeah, and then after he shows that, he pulls the book back and puts it back in his bag.
I'm just gonna laugh a little bit, and I'm gonna say, trust me, Brutus, if I had a book, I would write pages about you two.
And he once again just pats you on the head.
Did he refill my mug, though?
He did, in a timely fashion. He always does.
Drink the mug again.
Jess, why do I feel like the exact same kind of laugh you would have if someone actually patted you on the head?
For a refill.
Because that is the laugh that I have when people pat me on the head.
Anywho,
more
what did
than you
you
would-
say, Circe? Because everybody's talking.
I said I'm going to finish my mug as well and slam it down for a refill.
And he very quickly has like your next drink ready.
Yes.
And you have begun to notice that there is a surplus of people that are just glaring at the two of you.
I'm gonna blow kisses at the crowd.
You stole my move!
Oh, is that your thing? Oh,
This
You
entire
two get
campaign,
along
I'm just
so
blowing
well.
kisses at people who stare at me aggressively.
get fucked.
Get fucked.
I'm gonna do it too, that's my thing, but like...
I mean, until you serve me patent and trademark papers, shit, nothing ain't your thing.
Okay. As you guys are doing that, Holly and Wulfric are sitting behind at the safe house.
Yes, Holly's just chilling in an armchair.
Wolfric is petting Squeaks awkwardly, because does not know how to have conversation with Holly.
And Squeaks just sits up, looks at you, and just starts screaming, just squeaking loudly.
Is it panic squeaking, or is it like attention, like, or something else?
Like attention.
Dude, is he okay?
I don't know. I'm petting him. I'm out of food.
And as you like that realization hits you, though you realize that has nothing to do with it. Squeaks jumps out of your lap and just starts circling around the stacks of items in the stuff in the shop.
Shop.
Well, it was a shop, remember? It is turned into a hoarder's paradise, but this was formerly a shop.
Okay. Perception check on the items that he's circling.
Go ahead.
That is a 16. Wait. Let me double check that.
Holly's curious too and looks as well.
Okay, roll me perception checks, my dude.
Holy shit, I do have my perception number memorized.
20, 17, 20.
Okay.
Not natural.
Okay. And what did you get?
16.
Okay. And as you guys are following Squeaks around as he's running circles around these piles, he stops and you begin to notice that he's running an obvious pattern. He has, in this moment, realized where every single trap in each of the piles are, and is running around them like an obstacle course.
So no, I'm just proud.
That is so cool.
And then as he's running circles around them, he finally finds one like stack of books to bounce off of, and then just barely glimpses one of the traps, and just dives into one of the piles of clothes.
Is that? It's like a child. I don't know how to be a father.
She just pats him on the shoulder and be like, "You live and you learn."
And
he's very energetic child.
I wish I had half that energy.
And you hear you hear very muffled squeaks coming out. And then you suddenly see his little butt poke out of it as his little tail as he's trying to pull something out from under the pile.
I am gonna go up and see what the hell he is doing.
Yeah, I want to look.
As you can see, he's gotten it. His little shoulders are still in the pile, but he's got his feet braced on the pile as he's trying to pull something out.
I'm gonna try to help him.
Took the words from my mouth.
As you see the as you try to help him, realize he's pulling out as he gets it out all the way. As you guys move some of the stack, he just kind of falls backwards from the force of trying to pull it out. He's got a very decorative scarf in his mouth, and it's like a hunter green, and it's got a bunch of like eye-shaped symbols painted on it.
You said eye shape or ice?
Eye shape, like they're like very decorative, but it's a very tacky scarf.
Okay.
And it is something that you recognize, Holly.
I do.
Yes, this is a very familiar scarf to you because it resembles one that belongs to a very specific idiot friend of yours.
Holly's just gonna like quietly gasp and be like, "Squeaks, may I have that?"
And he just kind of backs up with it, like he's getting like you could see tail wagging. Like, you can see it in his eyes. He's getting ready to bolt with it.
Who wants to play bets?
I am going to actually make a acrobatics check to try to grab it.
Fucking go for it.
Oh god, this is terrible.
If he fails, I'm gonna try.
And you both
That's
fail.
a 7.
Okay. I lost my other dice, so let's see if this one works. Oh, well, that's a 7.
As you guys both go to dive for him, you just kind of collide onto the floor as he bolts across the couches.
Oh, great.
I have an idea.
Ouch.
And he's now running laps around the couches.
Holly's gonna rub her head and be like, yeah, anything will work.
I'm going to attempt an animal handling check to try to get him to come here. Do not give me any bonuses because he is my animal. He is my animal, therefore he probably won't listen to me. It's a 16. No, wait, 17.
Yeah, you're good. So
What
what are you doing to get his attention?
Come here, boy. Come here. Can I have the thing, please?
And you kind of see his little tail going, and like he doesn't realize the stupidity he just pulled, and he just like runs over to you with it.
I grab the thing and yank it fast.
And he just like stops for a moment like a puppy that you just took a toy from, and like a split second later his attention's on something else.
Oh, okay, good. That I don't have to get a limb for him to play with out of my bag. Continue.
And so you have taken the scarf from this tiny creature.
Okay.
What are you doing
I'm
with
going
it?
to hand it to Holly because I saw in her face that there was something.
I knocked it out. I missed that.
He's handing you the scarf, homie.
Oh, okay. Holly's gonna just carefully grab it and just feel it. Like, she's gonna just look at it with this look in her eye, and she's just feel it. And she's gonna go and sit down.
Kind of, as you're looking at the scarf, a memory kind of hits you of a blonde man who is just pulling the scarf free from his neck as he's wrapping it around his hand because he's bleeding. And then he's just like, well, that'll teach me. There are little dried blood spots on the scarf.
Okay. Is that it? Do I investigate it to see if there's anything else that's different, or is that just blood?
No, that's
Is it torn?
It's not torn.
Okay. She's just gonna carefully wrap it, and she's gonna go see if Cyril is in the house.
Yeah, the old dude.
Yeah.
He is. He is in the kitchen. As you walk in the kitchen, he seems to be he's on a little step stool because he's a short race. He's on a little step stool leaning over a pot, and he's just kind of stirring it. And as you walk in, he looks up at you, and he's just like, and he adjusts his glasses, and he's just like, "What can I do for you, young lady?"
And she's gonna hold up the folded scarf. Like, how did you obtain this scarf?
And then he just he kind of crinkles his nose as he like leans over to look at it, and he goes, Well, it's a lost thing. That's kind of what we do here.
What do you mean?
It's like this is one of the few storehouses for the Silver Pinnacle. We keep some of the more dangerous things on the island, but stuff like that usually just ends up here. It's just like the piles, and he points into the living room, are stuff that has yet to been sorted and sent over to the island. And he kind of gets down off the stepping stool and just very like holds out his hands.
I'm sorry, but can you look at it while I'm holding it?
And he's just like, it's fine. And he very delicately, because he can tell how cautious you are, grabs a bit of the fabric between two fingers and just kind of feels it as he like leans in, and he goes, "Yeah, we had a young lady who was wearing that scarf for a while. I don't know where she got it, but she was some kooky lady wandering the street. Dropped it and said it wasn't hers, so we kept it."
May I have it?
And then you kind of see that his brows furrow as he looks at you, and he goes, "Now, why would you want a thing like that?"
Well, it's a very original scarf. Maybe I can find a new outfit to pair with it.
And he just kind of snorts and he goes, "We don't deal in handouts, lady. These things belong to people. That's our job, is to find the people they belong to."
What if I can offer you a price for it?
And then he just looks and he goes, "Now, what can you give me?"
I don't have much. Is there an amount of gold you would like?
And he just kind of goes, "If I wanted gold, I would have sold half that junk in the beginning." And he stops and he looks at you for a really long time. And he goes, "You know what? Got a feeling about this. How about take the scarf and just find who it belongs to. Till then, it's yours."
I thank you for handing me the scarf.
And then he just kind of waves you off and he goes, "Silver Pinnacle doesn't have enough people. Find who all these things belong to anyway." And he goes back to his pot.
Holly's gonna put it in her bag.
I zoned out when Squeaks was rummaging in the piles, and then I heard Torrent. What did I miss?
That's too bad. You'll have to listen to the recording later, bitch.
Rip.
Yeah, we'll tell you later. Don't worry.
Get fucked.
I
Did you
didn't
use
recognize
helium?
that.
Anywho, what are you doing now, Holly?
She's gonna turn around and go sit back in the armchair and just put the scarf in the bag and relax again. But she's thinking.
As you put the scarf in your bag, Squeaks dive bombs into the bag and has his head sticking out of your bag, and just the scarf is over his head. And he looks at you and squeaks.
Damn it, Squeaks, you can't just go into other people's things. That is how we get shot.
She's gonna chuckle and just get him out with the scarf and be like, you really like the scarf that much, Squeaks?"
And then he kind of rolls in it and then just squeaks. like loudly, and Wolfric is getting the sensation that he's basically saying he likes who it smells like.
I think it's more of the smells than anything.
Can I investigate the star?
Yeah.
She looked closely at it and
Roll me investigation.
okay. 11.
I think me and Jessica had like 13 seconds of roleplay, and now it's like, oh, let's talk about this scarf for 30 fucking minutes.
Yeah, no, not gonna. I'm not gonna do that.
Taking to a brothel.
Yeah, you got time to roleplay. I took a fucking nap. Time period you got to roleplay. When I got up, it's like, oh.
Seriously, you're not muted.
Now let's talk about.
Seriously, you're not muted.
Yeah, you're not muted, dude. I didn't say I was done with you, so calm down.
I'm sorry, I had to hop off somewhere. What happened?
You were not muted, and I heard you, so calm down. I didn't say I was done with you.
What?
Because whereas Michael has to go to work soon, I wanted to get at least some of it covered, so he heard some of it. I was going to circle back to you. Calm down.
Guys.
Okay, and so the other, like I said, basically from what you rolled, other than the little blood spots and stuff you noticed, there's nothing other remarkable that you've noticed about the scarf.
Huh? Give me a second.
I flicked down before I said anything.
Can she she's gonna pit Sweets up and give him that to Wilfred. But keep the scarf and put it back in her bag.
Oh no. Okay, this happens a lot. That's getting irritating. What? What?
Fucking Sean. You were unmuted.
No, I wasn't. I muted myself. It doesn't matter. This happens every fucking time I'm getting here. Okay.
Okay.
Let me know.
Everyone can hear.
Okay, good.
Alright, and anywho, if he's done complaining.
Seriously, we're getting back to you.
Okay, well, I'm through that house.
You told me. I got him. You went up to go to the bathroom. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here.
You went up to go to the bathroom.
I'm annoyed as shit, but I'm here.
I understand.
For the time being, because I knew we weren't going to get to it this time, because I was just going to leave a huge surprise for tomorrow, so that, or for the next, well, the tomorrow in-game, but for the next session, I will give, Michael, I will give you the full stats on the cool shit that you got to make, since I know you have to go to work soon.
I mean, I go in around 2 o'clock.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is, if we don't get to the next day, and what we're doing, remind me to give you the full stats.
Just spirals.
Okay.
Tell them to continue on.
You didn't answer the question in chat, though, so.
Oh, I didn't see it. 1 second.
I'm sorry, tell them I set up. My apologies, but I have to deal with this right now. I was hacking the phone.
Sorry, folks.
So he just popped his nosebleed, so he's going to be out for longer. Whoa.
Did you hear that, Shay?
I heard none of that.
He popped the nosebleed, which is a pretty common occurrence for him.
Okay.
So he's had to go on without him.
Hard to go through a part that involves him without him.
I understand.
Okay.
Go back to Morden until he's done with his nose.
Yeah, for the time being, I guess.
Okay, well, or thought we could end it here just because we have been going for about 3 hours.
Yeah, no, but I had planned to cover more than we have covered.
Yeah. Just a thought. I'm sorry.
No, I agree. If you guys want to stop for now, we can stop for now. But like I said, I don't want to hear complaints about us not getting shit done.
Shay. Topic for off of recording.
Yeah, well, he should have kept the topic off the recording himself.
He thought he was muted. Okay, I'm trying to keep the peace here. So, just...
I'm good to continue for at least a little while longer.
Yeah, me too. So, for the sake of continuing the story, but allowing for Susie to deal with his nosebleed and calm down and everyone keep the peace, we can continue with Bagram, Morden, keep having Holly play with Squeaks and the scarf.
Okay, for the time being, we will jump back over to Fargrim. I will not give you a full description of what you guys have just made just yet. But the majority of the work is done.
Very awesome.
So Gwyn has basically what you've noticed from the time of working on this is that she has a nice setup. She basically just rolls out the side of her cart and it opens into her own free workstation.
Very awesome, actually.
It's like the entire, like, looking at the cart, whereas when it was dark when she first pulled the sheet off of it, of course, it was not as easy to notice, but her pulling out everything, like, all of her tools and everything, it looks like she made the cart herself. Like, nothing that she has brought with her was really purchased from anyone.
A true artisan.
So you guys have gathered a bit of a crowd, as well as a distant crowd, as they have kept away for their safety.
Wait, hold on. So this is all still happening in the evening, and we're drawing a crowd during the evening before this whole convention's even taken place.
Yes.
Oh, this is great.
Because it is not covered. It is an open mini forge with its own little workbench.
Awesome. Okay. I am not a showman, so there will be none of that. But I will definitely put my full focus into the work.
As you notice, neither is she. It looks like the workstation was solely made for convenience of doing stuff on the move. She herself has been so in tune with what you guys are working on and having conversation or little debates with you as to how to handle things, that she has basically not even noticed the crowd until you guys are until about right now, when she stops and she opens a flask from her belt and she's pulling her goggles away and she's wiping the sweat from her forehead. She's just like, what are all these people doing here?
So Fargrim's going to kind of look up and look around and just kind of take a look at the crowd. Do they seem like they're like fascinated, like they're curious? Like what's the emotion of the crowd right now?
Roll me perception.
Sure. That's going to be a 16.
Okay, yeah, from what you can tell, a lot of people are curious. Some are scared. Some are a little bit scared because Wesley is still lumbering around, not knowing what to do.
With no arms?
Yeah, with no arms. He's just kind of wandering around, but he's basically just circling the workstation. Though a lot of people, some people seem really impressed. Obviously, from what you can tell just by clothing and outerwear, that they're likely artisans themselves. But there's a lot of curious onlookers who are just trying to figure out what you're doing.
Okay. So I'll turn back to Gwendolyn. I I think we have some fans.
And she just like stops, and you could see like reds like crawling up her cheeks, and she's just like, "Why would we have fans?"
Well, they must think that we're pretty interesting.
And then she just kind of looks around, and she clears her throat and goes, "The show's not till tomorrow."
Does the crowd react to that at all?
They're still just staring at her, but she looks very embarrassed.
All right. I'll kind of like, because Fargrim's not great at these kind of things. He's a little dense. So he'll kind of like look at her and look at them and like try to figure out what exactly is the best course of action for this. And he's probably like just like the gears are turning in his head, but nothing's coming. So he's going to go to his default. So he's going to pull out Hresfog. And he's going to kind of point it up into the air and address the crowd. I did not know if y'all have any other business to be attending to, but I suggest you go on your way. We have quite a bit of work to be doing ahead of us, and we'd rather save the surprise for later.
And some people who are aware as to what a gun is immediately clear out, and others are just standing around trying to figure out why why the other people are running away.
But I'm not heartless. I mean, I could give you at least a little bit of a demonstration. Just be sure to plug your ears. And without giving them a chance to actually like plug their ears, although he is going to be looking at Gwendolyn to make sure that she does. As soon as she's got her ears plugged, he's going to pull the trigger.
Yeah, she very quickly covers her ears knowingly. And as soon as you pull the trigger, you see a lot of people flinch, and then they just start scattering. And she just starts barreling over laughing, and she's just like, she's like, I wish I'd thought of that myself.
Sometimes it takes a little bit of charisma to convince people to move on.
God damn it.
And then she smacks what you guys were working on, which is hidden over, she has like a cloth thrown over it. And then she's just like, is that what you're gonna name this one?
She's asking me if I'm going to name what we're working on charisma.
Yes.
Oh my fucking Christ. If you don't, I don't know if we can be friends.
Oh, I'm going to have to actually look that up. Oh my gosh. Okay. So,
What language?
all of the Krach and Hresfog are both Dwarven. So I'm actually have to look up what charisma translates in Dwarven.
I'll find it for you.
Oh God.
By the way, definitely going to be his daughter. He's finally going to have a little girl.
Yeah.
She's going to be the scary one. Just saying. Anyway, so after the crowd kind of gets the idea that they need to, just keep moving on, and it's not a show. He's going to go back to work with Gwendolyn on the weapon.
Alrighty then, and do we have our key players back for the other half of this?
I don't know. I mean, Shay, I can always go search out the Dead Witch, and there's a certain thing I needed to talk to her about, if you remember.
Yeah, but at this moment, you will not find her.
Did you develop a little bit of the...
No.
I
mean, possibly. Possibly, but no, there are other reasons I think that you will also enjoy.
Yeah, no, we will discuss that later.
I am here, but Circe is currently basically bent over the toilet.
He's bleeding. Okay.
Yeah.
I just know that you and him going into the Undercity is going to be a whole endeavor.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that that's going to be an hour unto itself if I handle it the way that it is.
Are there any... Do we see any late-night blacksmiths at work?
No. Everyone is too busy getting drunk by this point.
Damn. I... Do you remember if I sent you pictures of the weapons that I won?
No, you did not.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna find that now.
Roll me perception.
For me?
Yes, you.
Okay. That's a 9. I can't see shit.
Okay, so you're only going to see one of the two things. Alright. Because one, you don't got a choice.
Well, I can assume so.
As you are following Valko down the different streets and such like that, and he stops, reorients himself, and is just like, this way. And he looks back at you for a moment because he realizes he must seem incompetent as of the second, and he's just like, I'm trying to avoid traffic. Like, there's a
Morin is just going to grunt a response.
And he finally turns, and then there's a large staircase that goes downward, and he's just like, this is where we're going. And it kind of circles into the stone.
Okay.
And as you guys go down that staircase and it circles down, there's a very large door. It looks like it was boarded up, but it looks like the boards have been long since pulled loose or damaged. And there is a very degenerate looking man guarding the way. His clothes are not that clean, they're torn up, and he's literally got no eyebrows. And he looks at Valko and he goes, Toll. And Valko goes, Toll, I got that right here, and just gut punches him.
Is there another person?
There is not. It's just the one guy.
Okay.
And the guy falls over and is just like coughing, is like basically coughing up everything onto the ground. And he's just like, nice chatting with you. And Valko goes through the door.
He left him conscious?
Mm-hmm.
Cool, I'm gonna finish the job.
Murder or consciousness?
The consciousness. For right now.
Okay. What are you gonna
well...
You gonna curb stomp him?
No. I'm gonna at least let him look at who attacked him. gonna pick him up by the front of the shirt and lift him up to my eye level before I pull a right cross on him.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me a strength check.
All right.
I know it's a foolish thing to ask a dragonborn barbarian, but you know what? Go for it.
No. I love those checks. They make me feel all warm and happy inside, especially when I get 21.
Yeah, he's out.
And then I'll prop him up against the door, like in the corner.
Mhm.
And then I'll follow Valko.
And as you go in, you see Valko is about 10 feet away, and he's looking back, and he's just like, "You coming?"
Oh, just cleaning up your messes, friend.
Then he's just like, "Ooh, I do have a lot of those." And you see jokes as you guys continue down into this is like I said, this Undercity is very similar to what you saw previously. There's definitely people around who are some who are looking at you suspiciously, others who are just straight up staying away from you. As you guys are venturing down there, you can kind of see that you can see that Valko is playing with the pin that's affixed to his scarf.
I'm going to use my Danger Sense and Feral Instinct for perception and see what the hell he senses.
Okay.
15. With the perception is 16. So, sorry, I just knocked my mic all over my face.
Yeah, you're looking at the way he's adjusting this pin. Despite the fact that there is low lighting here, at the most there is maybe a couple of lanterns lit. The pin itself still looks as bright as it did in the daylight.
Mm-hmm.
And as you kind of see, when it seems like he's about to step in a different direction, and the shine of it just kind of flickers, and he changes his mind and goes a different way.
Okay. Should I? No, I really shouldn't. He doesn't, so I'll stick to my fists. I'll follow him.
BRB.
Well, I'll follow Valko.
Okay. Okay, so as you are following Valko, do we have... Is his nose done bleeding or no?
Oh, Susie. Hold on. That was tasty. Let me go check.
I'm already checking on Sean.
Nope, this one's a long one. Hasn't stopped yet.
Oh, not fun.
Especially with all the mucus him and I have been hacking up. It's lovely.
Oh yeah, we've been sick too. Same. Okay, so we will continue for the time being. As you are following Valko down, he's evens or odds?
Let's go evens.
Okay. Lucky you.
No.
You guys managed to avoid any complications as of the moment. And as you guys are sorting your way through this, people seem too intimidated to even walk up to you. So you're managing to stay out of trouble quite well.
Gee, it's not because it's not because I'm a 7-foot dragonborn bronze barbarian. Not at all.
And as you are following him, he stops for a second and looks around and goes, "That's odd."
Odd?
And then he flicks the pin on his scarf again. He's just like, "Yes, odd." And he's looking around, but it's like a big open area. There's like one house that's just like collapsed. But as far as you can see, it's the most of it is just like the stone, and it is just like covered in layers of sand. But he's looking around, he just hits the pin again, and he's just like, "We should be here." But then he is just like, but then, and he takes a couple of steps back, and you see that he walks about 10 feet away, and then he comes walking back, and he goes, "Oh great, I guess we're here." And then he's just like, "Well, I guess we should start looking, and yeah, don't let your guard down."
Your lack of details amazes me sometimes, Valko.
Then he's just like, "I don't know what it looks like. I was just told what it does." He's just like, "This," and he points to the pin. He's like, "Should be telling me what I'm looking for." But the closer we got to it, the more it stopped. And then he walks all the way back down the street again, turns, looks at you, and points to it as it's shining, and then walks all the way up to you again, and it stopped. And he's like, he's just holding his hands out like, "See, ta-da."
I'm gonna take a look around the square circle area that we're in.
Roll me investigation.
Oh, investigation. Great. This is gonna be interesting. Wow. Nat 20.
As you guys are looking around. Okay. As you guys are looking
With
around.
a dragonborn of an intelligence of 11, I nat 20'd. Yay.
Hey, man, better than nothing.
That is, absolutely.
Yeah, Valko's basically just wandering around. He walks over to where the house has collapsed, and you're looking at how there's so much sand covering these stones. It's like a fair amount, but it's like, you know, when there's a shit ton of sand on the boardwalk, and you're just like, why? Yeah, so some of these stones are covered, and you're as you're looking around, you notice that as you're just kind of brushing the sand aside with your feet, it just starts pouring into one of the crevices in one of the stones, and as you can see that there's something shining in between one of the spaces of the crevices, and the stone you can move.
Give me 1 second. She's right there.
Okay, I'll touch it with my foot. How movie is it?
Like, you could, like, it jiggles when you touch it with your foot. Like, you could probably pull this out of there.
Sure, I'll reach down and, well, I'll unhook my mace from my belt first, and then pull the thing out.
Okay, as you pull the brick out, you can kind of hear a like a metallic-y sound as the rest of what you saw, as the like chain kind of slides against the stone, and in there where all the sand has been, you see a rusted medallion, and in the centerpiece there is a very like clear aqua-colored stone.
Okay. I'm going to call over to Valko.
And you basically turn up, look at him, and he's walking circles around the house and just still flicking the pin.
Great, so I'm on my own. Awesome.
If you're
so
no, if you're calling to him, of course you'll get his attention.
I have no time for his. He didn't hear me the first time. That's fine.
No,
so
if you no, what I was saying is if that's what you chose to do, that was just when he was doing when you look up. But if you chose to call out to him, yes, he heard you, and he comes walking over and he's like, "What?"
I'll look down, and the brick that I have is attached with the chain. You said?
No. When you like the brick was removable. It looked like the medallion was like stuck wedged between the stones, and then once you moved the brick, it kind of fell down into the little space.
Gotcha.
So you can see it; it's right there.
Yeah, I'll put the brick down and grab the medallion because bad decisions, right?
And as you pick it up, and Valko just looks at it and goes, "Oh, that's what we're looking for." And then he looks at his pin and is just like, "I wonder why this stupid thing's not working."
That's what we're looking for. Warren's gonna look at him with feigned, almost Saito or almost Saze level sarcasm and say, "Really?" And then he's gonna ignore the last comment because magic and bullshittery.
And he holds his hand out to you, and he's just like, "Thank you for finding it." Probably.
Did we lose her?
No, I'm still here.
Okay, I didn't catch that last one.
He said he holds his hand out and he says, "Thank you for finding it."
Slowly and very deliberately, Morin's going to put it into his hand and push down.
Okay.
Yeah, and then he's just like, "Okay," and takes it, and he opens one of the pouches in his bag and just drops it in it, and just kind of snaps it shut. And then he's just like looking around. He's just like, "Morin, my friend, did you notice the same thing that I noticed?" And as it kind of hits you that Cecia was very terrified of somebody earlier, but you got here and there is nobody here.
Well, seeing as she was terrified, actually, I'm gonna do a I guess it would be another investigative check on the house.
You already nat 20'd.
Oh, okay.
So as you can tell, like, because there's so much foot traffic in this area. There's it's so dank and not taken care of that you couldn't tell if there was a person here. It's just despite the feeling is a little off. Like the area doesn't feel right.
Well, how old is the damage to the house?
Very old. It's
okay.
It's at least over 40 years.
Mm-hmm. Then Morin's gonna say, besides there being a lot of sand on the ground.
Then he's like, "Oh, that's to be suspected," and he just shakes his boot, and then a little bit of sand falls out of it. He's like, "Yeah, we're this close to the sand sea."
It's quiet.
And he's just like, "Yes." Like, I was expecting us to get attacked, weren't you?
Well, not knowing you or who you claim to be friends with, I came to expect pretty much anything. Especially with the group I'm traveling with.
Then he's just like, yes, but you angered two very specific people in very, very gaudy bird masks. And he was just like, so, as expected, I would have normally been attacked by them. You've already made them angry. Isn't it a little quiet?
Even the mountains didn't get this quiet sometimes. Let us leave before, well, we draw attention to ourselves.
And he's like, agreed. I would keep an eye out. I don't like this.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be back.
Okay, what about Circe? Has he bled to death, or is he okay?
He's still bleeding. I mean, he is known to have like 45-minute bleeds.
Okay, well, we literally cannot do anything until he gets back.
Okay.
We're
Okay.
at that point now. I have pushed what I could.
Okay. Well, I don't know what the fuck I can tell you.
No, I know. What I'm saying is he's nose bleeding, and I don't want him to be upset that we didn't get back to the thing that I had planned.
He did say go on without him if it needs to come to doing something.
Well, it kind of needs him.
It involves
regardless.
him. It literally involves him.
Well, I don't know.
Give me a moment.
How's everyone doing this week?
Ask me that question off recording.
Okay. I'm tasting a lot of hostility. How about we paint a happy tree?
I will drop kick you.
And give it a little happy little clap.
I want to hear about the asshole patient I had today.
Let's not do that over recording.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to use any patient identifiers or anything, just
in case.
Yeah, we don't want you to get in trouble.
I promise you, I know the things that would get me in trouble. I will not say anything that would do so.
Yes.
Just want to complain about them.
Oh. So, Shay, you never told me, this is something that can be on recording. Do I need to make the thingies, or are you going to make the thingies?
I'm going to make some of the thingies. I'm going to give you some options, though.
Okay, cool. Because that's gonna be a thing, and I don't know if anybody else remembers what's going on with that. That's gonna be a whole load of dice.
I don't know why my Pinterest is suddenly giving me a lot of Fantastic Beasts.
Obviously, it's because you've expressed any level of interest in Fantastic Beasts, and it's like, yep, that's all she wants to see. Did you ever go back and look at all of the My Hero Academia stuff that I spammed you?
No, I didn't. I told you, if you send me like 20 links at once, I will at max steal like 9 of them.
You don't love me.
It's not that. It's just half of it, what I did see, was stuff I had already seen.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've got so many freaking pins on that board. How am I supposed to keep track of what you've seen and haven't?
Suffer? Question mark?
That's literally what I do all of the time, always. So...
Yeah, my goal was actually to get a lot more done today.
Well, can't control the bleeding of noses.
Well, also, to be fair, I think this is our longest session.
No.
Now, the first one was the longest.
Okay.
But, with the whole crew, yes, this is the longest. That's why I started early.
Well, to be fair, the first session had the whole crew at that point in time.
It did, technically. All I want to do is torture y'all.
Torture me emotionally.
Yeah, definitely.
You could tell
Yeah,
us.
I can tell you she likes torturing people emotionally. Looks at Wolfric and the Dead Witch. It tells me Shay enjoyed torturing me with that way too much.
I always roll a dice to see if I'm gonna torture you guys or not.
Bullshit. I think you plan half of it.
I plan about 80% of it.
So I'm gonna be completely honest. Until you described the bartender a little bit more, I totally thought that it was going to be like one of Torrent's ex-crewmates or something. I was like, motherfucker, I'm not in the mood to deal with that kind of conflict right now.
Where's my
Those assholes are still out there somewhere.
Somewhere. Looks off into the distance.
Dramatically posing.
What are you staring at?
What are you looking at? It's just a wall.
It's not my fault. Somebody put a wall in my way.
Yeah.
So we had this patient who no-showed their appointment. They showed up 17 minutes after no-showing, so they were a total of 27 minutes late. And we were like, alright, well, we've got, 7 other patients to see this afternoon. You can either hang out and wait until they're all done, or you can reschedule your appointment. And she's like, oh, you know what, I think I'm just gonna hang out and wait. So I had to see her. And then she answered a phone call while I was screening her.
Oh, that's never cool.
5 minutes. Huh?
That's never cool.
I always love when people come to the pharmacy counter while they're, on their phones and expect me to get through an entire transaction. And it's like, hey, I need your input on this. Please help. Oh.
A two-way street.
I got someone got mad at me the other day, or frustrated with me the other day because I didn't speak Spanish.
Ah, yes. Could they themselves speak English?
Nope.
Ah.
You are in America. I'm not going to say speak English, but if you're going to live in America, you probably should learn the language. Just like if you go to Germany.
Dude, this is recording. Calm thyself. But no, I agree that she shouldn't have gotten mad at you for not knowing the language, for not knowing Spanish. I agree that's unfair.
Yeah.
Oh goodness. Do you know, has he bled to death?
I just checked a minute ago. He was still alive.
Hey, Circe, are you dead? No response, but a cat just walked in my room.
I was trying to finish this 30 minutes ago.
Come here, Loki. Yes.
Another gush just popped, so he's going to be out for a while.
Yeah, we may as well just call it. I mean, That's all I can do, but I gotta work at noon tomorrow, so.
No, that's fine. We got to work tomorrow as well. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's where we're gonna end the recording. Apologies all. I will likely try my best to edit out half the dead air. Thank you so much for listening to our stupidity, and to be continued in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.